Chapter 1178. The Chu family was in trouble. At this moment, an arrogant red-clad old man was attacking the Chu family's true flame star all by himself. The old man's Daoist name was Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch, and he was a famous figure in Northern Heaven. He was a three-tribulation celestial king, and his Tao of fire had reached the acme of perfection. As the aftermath of the battle spread out, even the void's starry sky was burned by the flames. A three-tribulation immortal king wasn't something that the Chu clan could contend against. Even if the Chu clan's Daoist Chu had the cultivation of an immortal venerable, the result would still be the same. Humph! Daoist Chu, stop resisting stubbornly. You're not my match. Even if you and all the cultivators of your Chu clan join forces, you're still not my match. You ought to be able to discern that I've already shown mercy to your Chu clan. After all, I haven't killed a single member of your Chu clan since I attacked until now. However, if you still refuse this old man's request, don't blame this old man for being ruthless. Hand over Bei Shi. There was a hint of impatience in Immortal Scarlet Flame's voice. Every time he swung his hand, hundreds or even thousands of Chu family cultivators would be sent flying. Immortal Scarlet Flame's flames burned them. Daoist Chu groaned inwardly. He knew that he was no match for the Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord. However, as the strongest person in the Chu clan and the only eternal immortal lord in the Chu clan, he had no choice but to face the Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord head-on. Bei Shi was an important guest of the Chu family. They could not hand her over to the Red Flame Immortal Lord no matter what. Qi Yan, you've fallen. Bei Shi is the eldest miss of the Lost World Palace. How dare you use her life to claim credit from the Realm Beast clan? You're shameless. Daoist Chu cursed. I'm shameless. Humph. The foundation of the Realm Beasts was not much weaker than that of the mystic races. If we sacrifice Bei Shi, we can befriend the Realm Beast clan and ask them to help us in the border river. This will be of great benefit to our northern sky. It's rare that the young clan leader of the Jia clan has taken a liking to this girl and wants to take her as his cauldron. This is Bei Shi's fortune and also her responsibility as the eldest miss of the Lost World Palace. How can she reject it? The Scarlet Flame Immortal sneered. Responsibility? Do you really think that I don't know about the power struggle in the Lost World Palace after staying in the heaven-avoiding coffin for so long? Scarlet Flame. I don't care how much benefits the Great Elder of the Lost World Palace gave you to suppress Palace Mistress Yuan Yao and her daughter. I only care about one thing. Our Chu clan will never allow outsiders to bully and humiliate our esteemed guests. We will not allow our own people to kill each other at this critical juncture of the survival of the realm. Humph. A mere one-tribulation celestial venerable dares to spout nonsense in front of a three-tribulation celestial king like me? You really don't know your place. Do you have the ability to stop this old man? Qi Yan said disdainfully. Whether you have the ability or not, I will stop you. Unseal the exploding flame sword. Daoist Chu patted his storage bag and took out an ancient scarlet copper sword. He tore off all the seals on the ancient sword. In an instant, the aura of the ancient sword that was originally in a sealed state recovered bit by bit. The scorching sword chi that reached the 12th Nirvana post-celestial level swept across the starry sky. A 12 Nirvana post-celestial sword, huh? Interesting. Unfortunately, your cultivation is too weak. You want to rely on a 12 Nirvana immortal sword to surpass 2 levels to defeat me? That's no different from the ravings of a lunatic. I'll say it one last time. Hand over Bei Shi, or else don't blame me for severely injuring you. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord said in a low voice. Cauldron breaking technique. That was Daoist Chu's final reply. At this moment, an extremely tyrannical sword intent burst out from Daoist Chu's body. That was a kind of desperate sword intent. Just like its name, it had the momentum of cutting off all means of retreat and sinking the boat. Even the incomparably arrogant Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord was momentarily moved by that sword strike. Because the power of that sword strike was actually infinitely close to the full power of a 3-tribulation immortal king. Was this a strike that a 1-tribulation immortal venerable could unleash? What a pity. Even if you have the cultivation of a 2nd tribulation immortal venerable, I wouldn't dare to take that strike head-on. But who told you to be only a 1-tribulation immortal venerable? Today, this old man will let you see how huge the difference between a 3-tribulation and a 1-tribulation is. 4-tribulation immortal technique, Fire God descends. With a spell, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord activated the unique immemorial true body of the 4-tribulation sect, Fire God descends. His entire body turned into a 300-meter-tall flaming giant. With a huge palm strike, flames condensed in his palm. With the power to overturn the starry sky, he smashed Daoist Chu's all-out strike. Another palm strike broke Daoist Chu's 12 nirvana-bursting flame swords into 2. The third palm strike made Daoist Chu vomit blood and fly backward. Along the way, he smashed several abandoned stars. Defeated. As the strongest expert of the Chu clan, Daoist Chu couldn't even take 3 palm strikes from Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord's true body. He was defeated too quickly. All the cultivators of the Chu clan were extremely shocked by this scene. When they looked at Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord again, their eyes were filled with deep fear. Those young cultivators of the Chu clan who regarded Daoist Chu as a god in their hearts were all in a trance. At this moment, they lost their lofty belief. The young clan leader of the Chu clan looked up at Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord with a defeated expression. Usually, he was known as the outstanding talent of the northern sky. But in front of a real expert, the so-called outstanding talent was not worth mentioning at all. Chu clan was known as the top force of the northern sky. However, they were defeated by an immortal king without any power to fight back. After today, the reputation of the Chu clan would be completely ruined. I'm sorry, Miss Beisher. It seems that my Chu clan can't protect you anymore. Daoist Chu couldn't even stand. His injuries were frighteningly serious. He was carried back to True Flame Star by a few elders of the Chu clan. Along the way, he coughed blood and looked dispirited. No, I'm the one who should apologize. If it wasn't to protect me, so many people of the Chu clan wouldn't have been injured by Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord. Senior wouldn't have been so seriously injured either. Beisher will never forget the kindness of the Chu clan today. Senior, please don't worry. Beisher will not let anyone of the Chu clan get hurt because of this matter. Beisher sighed guiltily. She flew up to the starry sky and flew towards Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord. Seeing that this woman had finally appeared, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord released his ancient true body and said disdainfully, "Little slut, you're finally willing to show yourself. Hiding your head but showing your tail. You're indeed the same as your mother." What an ear-piercing title. It was also an insult to her mother. Beisher's beautiful eyes were filled with anger. However, she didn't dare to refute at this moment. She bit her lips so hard that blood dripped down. She didn't dare to anger Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord. She was afraid that she would bring more trouble to the Chu clan. "I can go with Senior, but please let the Chu clan go," Beisher begged. "You're worrying too much. Even if you don't say it, I won't really start a massacre in the Chu clan. If I really do that, the heavenly laws won't let me go. The 4C sect won't let me go either. This is not the eastern sky where there's a war. Who would dare to destroy the northern heaven slaughter sect? I'm not an exception. My target is only you," Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord said coldly. "If my mother knows that I've been schemed against by you and given to the Realm clan, she will definitely take revenge for me." Beisher gritted her teeth and said, "Ha! Your mother is just a small shikong. She's the Palace Lord of the Lost World Palace in name. In reality, she's just a puppet-like existence. Her real power is too small. You want to find a 3rd tribulation immortal king to take revenge? Stop joking." Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord laughed loudly. Beisher remained silent. She knew that nothing she said could change her fate. She would be captured by Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord and given to the young clan leader of the Realm Beast clan as a cauldron. It was rumored that all the women who were taken by the young clan leader of the Realm Beast clan could not live for more than 3 days. Basically, they would be plucked and turned into dried corpses. Was this her fate? It was obvious that the Northern Heaven was facing the invasion of the foreign clans. It was a matter of life and death. Yet, there were still people who were fighting for power and wealth, disregarding the dangers of the world, compared to those Northern Heaven soldiers who were fighting bravely at the front line of the Boundary River. Those who were still busy fighting for power and wealth were really too shameless. If my mother and my sisters knew that I'm dead, they would probably be very sad. Alright, follow this old man to the Realm Clan. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord stretched out his big hand, wanting to grab Bayshore and leave. At this moment, rain suddenly fell from the starry sky. The cold raindrops fell on the back of his hand. It was so cold that it seeped into his bones and chilled his heart. Moreover, a ghost-faced silver-haired figure suddenly appeared in front of Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord along with the rain. He easily shielded Bayshore behind him, causing his hand to miss. You are. Of course, Bayshore could not recognize this ghost-faced silver-haired figure in front of her. However, she did not know why she felt that this person's back was a little familiar. It was as if she had seen him somewhere these few days. She could not see the cultivation aura of this ghost-faced cultivator. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord could not see it either. No one could see it. No one knew where this ghost-faced silver-haired cultivator came from, what his cultivation level was, and how he appeared here out of nowhere. No one could see how this person appeared. Who are you? Could it be that you want to obstruct my Realm Clan's work? Facing the ghost-faced immortal cultivator in front of him, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord could not figure out the other party's origin. Out of habit, he brought up the Realm Beast clan, wanting to shock the other party. Realm Clan? Which Realm Clan? One of the Northern Heaven's secret clans. The ghost-masked man deliberately made his voice sound old and hoarse. He heard that there were 3 secret clans in the Northern Heaven. He had inquired about 2 of them, the Purple Clan and the Light Clan. As for the third one, he had not inquired about the name of the Northern Heaven's secret clan. Secret clan? You're really ignorant and inexperienced. The Realm Clan is not a secret clan. However, its power is not much weaker than the secret clan. Its full name is the Realm Beast Clan. The Realm Beast Clan. I seem to have some impression of it. The ghost-masked man looked like he was reminiscing. He vaguely remembered that the Realm Beast had offended him when he was in the lower domain. In short, I can let bygones be bygones if you back off now. However, if you really want to interfere with my Realm Clan's business, don't blame me for being ruthless. As he spoke, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord went around the ghost-masked man and reached out his hand to grab Bayshore again. However, he only managed to grab an afterimage. The ghost-masked man actually moved at a speed that he could not see clearly. In an instant, he brought Bayshore and flew 100 feet away. What a terrifying speed. I'm a dignified immortal king, but I can't see how he moves. Could this person be a ghost? Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord felt his scalp go numb. He vaguely felt that this ghost-masked man was not someone to be trifled with. However, he had received a bribe from the Great Elder of the Lost World Palace and wanted to kill Bayshore. There was no reason for him to give up halfway. As long as you hand this woman over to me, you will be my friend from today onwards. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord said solemnly. You're just a 3rd Tribulation Realm cultivator. What right do you have to be my friend? What? Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord felt that he had been greatly insulted. It was one thing for him to be afraid of the ghost-masked man. It was another thing for him to be angered after being insulted. As for the name Zhao Jian, I seem to have heard of it somewhere, forget it. Since I don't remember it well, it must not be an important name. I'll kill this Zhao Jian. Eternal True Body, Descent of the Fire God. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord did not dare to be careless in the face of the ghost-masked man. He immediately activated his eternal true body and his aura rose to the peak of the third tribulation immortal king realm. After activating his eternal true body, Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord seemed to have gained a lot of confidence. When he faced the ghost-masked man again, his tone became much more arrogant. "I'll say it again. Hand this woman over to me or I don't mind roasting you into a human jerky." The ghost-masked man's eyes turned cold. It had been a long time since he heard such threatening words. Those who dared to threaten him were all dead. Moreover, didn't the Northern Heavenly Law say that immortals were not allowed to kill each other? This Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord actually wanted to roast him into a human jerky. Hee, this is really interesting. It turns out that the so-called Heavenly Law is not worth mentioning in front of a true expert. I heard that the Heavenly Law of the Four Meridians sect is controlling the Northern Heavenly Law. Initially, I didn't want to kill anyone. However, your words have changed my mind. If you don't scram within 3 breaths, you will die. The ghost-masked man said ruthlessly. What? Did I hear wrongly? Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord was stunned for a moment. Then, he laughed loudly. He did not believe that the ghost-masked man could kill him. He also did not believe that the ghost-masked man would dare to kill him. I'm a 4th grade middle grade heavenly supervisor of the Four Meridians sect. Who are you? How dare you talk nonsense to me? If you don't scram within 3 breaths, you will die. I'm not going to scram. Not only that, I'm going to roast you into a human jerky. Descending of the Fire God, 10 consecutive palm strikes. Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord made his move. Using his eternal true body, he instantly launched 10 consecutive palm strikes at the ghost-masked man. He could defeat Tao Master Chu in an instant with 3 palm strikes. Even a 4th tribulation immortal king would have to spend some effort to defend against 10 palm strikes. His attack was not weak, but he had chosen the wrong opponent. The ghost-masked man named Zhao Jian did not even bother to look at the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch's attack. With a casual tribulation flash, the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch was turned into ashes. Silence. The entire starry sky was dead silent. The Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch who killed Tao Master Chu with 3 palm strikes was actually killed by a mysterious ghost-masked man. This senior Zhao Jian is really powerful. He can actually kill a 3rd tribulation immortal king with a single strike. Even a peak immortal king would not be able to do that. Could he be an immortal emperor with a hidden identity? Zhao Jian. What an unfamiliar name. It should be an alias. Is this senior Zhao Jian here to save our Chu clan? He's really a good person. Or perhaps this senior Zhao has some kind of relationship with the Palace Lord of the Lost World Palace? Did he specially come here to save the eldest miss of the Lost World Palace? The entire Chu clan was in an uproar. However, the ghost-masked man did not seem to be interested in all these. He was also not interested in how Beishir offended the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch. He was also not interested in the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch and his Jia clan background. Saving someone was just a matter of convenience. He did not ask for anything in return and there was no need to thank him. There was also no need to tell him his real identity or name. The ghost-masked man took a glance at the Chu clan and realized that many of them had been severely injured by the Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch. Although no one died, many of them had their foundations damaged. This is not good. Not good at all. Black Star Art. The ghost-masked man clasped his hands together. Countless black stars appeared in the starry sky. The surging black stars shone down on the entire true flame star. A miraculous scene happened. Under the illumination of the black stars, the injuries of the Chu clan's members recovered rapidly. Even Tao Master Chu, who was beaten half to death, recovered from his serious injuries to light injuries, and from light injuries to no injuries. He was now alive and kicking. What a shocking star art! This is not an ordinary star art. This is the Black Star Art. It's a top secret of the ancient heavenly court. The entire Chu clan was in a state of shock. After the shock, it was followed by an overwhelming chorus of gratitude. If not for the ghost-masked man, more than half of the Chu clan's members would be bedridden. How could they not thank him? Who is this person? He actually healed tens of thousands of injured members with a single move. His healing technique is countless times more powerful than my ancient god's lost technique. Bei Shi was so shocked that she could not close her mouth. However, the ghost-masked man obviously did not have the time to care about the dumbfounded Bei Shi. Instead, he took a deep look in the direction of True Flame Star and the Chu clan. This time, he was not looking at the Chu clan or Dao Master Chu. Instead, he was looking at the Chu clan's young clan head, Chu Yuran. Young clan head is about to break through to the mysterious life immortal realm. Not bad, shock. Everyone was shocked. This senior Zhao Jian actually spoke. Furthermore, he was speaking to the Chu clan's young clan head. He was praising the Chu clan's young clan head's cultivation progress. From Senior Zhao's tone, could it be that he actually knows our young clan head? Could it be that he really appreciates our young clan head? Chu Yuran was completely dumbfounded. How lowly was his identity? Occasionally, he would carry out a mission from the Four Lions sect and go to the 9 worlds of the lower world. Perhaps he could still be considered a powerful figure. However, in the northern heaven, he was definitely an ant. An ant like him was actually praised by Senior Zhao, who was suspected to be an immortal emperor. What an honor! For a moment, Chu Yuran was so excited that he was speechless. I obtained these Dao fruits from killing people by chance. Take them. I'm sure that you will be able to break through to the life immortal realm in a few days. The devil-masked man named Zhao Jian flicked his finger. A stream of light landed lightly in Chu Yuran's hand. It was a storage bag filled with Dao fruits. The lowest Dao fruits inside were life immortal Dao fruits. There were even truth-crossing Dao fruits. So many Dao fruits. Not to mention breaking through to the life immortal realm, it is enough for me to advance a few steps in the human profound realm. Thank you, Senior, for your reward. Chu Yuran was overjoyed. He was about to kneel down in the direction of the devil-masked man. However, the devil-masked man would certainly not allow Chu Yuran to kneel down. The reason why he gave Chu Yuran the Dao fruits was to repay the friendship of the past. The friendship between gentlemen was as indifferent as water. At this moment, it was not convenient for him to reveal his identity. He also did not want to expose the friendship of the past. As long as he could help Chu Yuran a little, it would be enough. As for kneeling down to thank him, it would be too much. Chu Yuran wanted to kowtow again. However, the next moment, a telepathic message entered his ears. It was so shocking that he could not continue kowtowing. I am an old friend. Don't expose me, it was a simple telepathic message. The voice was not that of an old man. It was his original voice. Chu Yuran was very familiar with this voice. However, he was shocked and felt that it was inconceivable. It's him. It's actually him. It's that little cultivator from the rain world. It's that old demon Han's disciple from the lower world. But how is this possible? How many years have passed since then? Has that little cultivator already ascended from the rain world? Ascended to the northern heaven? Is he already strong enough to kill a 3-tribulation immortal king? This is impossible. Impossible. But these words, this voice, Yuran, what happened? Why do you look so strange? Chu Yuran's father, the head of the Chu family, asked with concern. No, it's nothing. I was suddenly recognized by this Senior Zhao. I'm just a little shocked. Chu Yuran did not expose the identity of the devil-masked man. This is my son's fortune. It's my son's honor and also the Chu family's honor to be injured by such a powerful senior. Where's that Senior Zhao? He left. After the devil-masked man did his good deed, he left. Doing good without leaving your name, you really have the demeanor of an immortal hero. Daoist Chu was full of praise for the devil-masked man. Suddenly, he thought of something, and his expression changed drastically. Zhao Jian. Zhao Jian. Wasn't this name listed in the top secret of the Four Fish Sect's Vermilion Scroll? It was not strange that ordinary people did not know this name, because the Four Meridians sect was very strict with this kind of top secret and would never leak it out. However, as an ancient immortal lord, Daoist Chu had heard of some top secrets. Zhao Jian. Zhao Jian. Isn't this the name of the great cultivator who saved countless immortal emperors of the four heavens and the demon race during the calamity of the wildlands? Could it be that the devil-masked man who had just shown kindness to the Chu family was that senior? This news was too shocking. If this person was really that great cultivator Zhao Jian, perhaps he would be of great help to Northern Sky's crisis. This matter must be reported to the Four Meridians sect. Daoist Chu did not dare to delay and immediately went to handle this matter. As for how shocked the four primordial sects would be after hearing the news, it was not Ning Fan's concern. That's right. The devil-masked man who had saved Bei Shi and helped the Chu family was none other than Ning Fan. He had received many favors from the Chu family. Naturally, he would not allow the Chu family to be bullied by a mere Scarlet Flame immortal lord. However, considering that the situation in Northern Sky was very complicated, Ning Fan did not want the people of the Dark Race and the Devil Conferral Summit to know that he had come to Northern Sky from the Eastern Heaven. Now that the four heavens had been cut off from the news, ordinary cultivators of Northern Sky might not know what the title, Lord of Massacre Palace, the King of Hell of the Eastern Heaven, meant. However, the people of the Devil Conferral Summit and the Dark Race certainly knew about it. If his enemies knew that he had come to Northern Sky, what awaited him would probably be endless pursuit. Ning Fan was not arrogant enough to think that he could survive the pursuit of the quasi-saints of the Dark Race and the Devil Conferral Summit. If that was the case, it was obviously more convenient and safer for him to act in the dark with another identity. Zhao Jian, an ancient great cultivator. There were 3 benefits to using this identity. Firstly, he could hide from the eyes and ears of the Devil Conferral Summit and the Dark Race. Secondly, during the calamity of the Wildlands, Ning Fan had saved many immortal emperors of Northern Sky and the 4 profound sects using the identity of Zhao Jian. This identity could make it easier for Ning Fan to act in Northern Sky. It could boost the morale of the Northern Sky and deter those who try to harm him. Thirdly, if the eyeball monster knows that Zhao Jian has come to Northern Sky, it would immediately know that it was Ning Fan. If I kill Scarlet Flame Immortal Lord with my identity, I will certainly get into a lot of trouble because I have violated the rules of Northern Sky. However, if Zhao Jian kills someone, I dare to bet that the immortal emperors of the 4 profound sects will certainly not ask about this matter and punish me. In a certain empty space, Ning Fan removed the silver hair and ghost mask and changed back to his original appearance. Saving Bei Shi and helping the Chu family were just trivial matters in Ning Fan's eyes. What he was concerned about was the situation in Northern Sky. He was concerned about the safety of his women and friends in Northern Sky. What should I do next? Should I directly go to the Northern Border River to participate in the battle and support the cultivators of Northern Sky? Ning Fan shook his head and rejected this idea. What was the greatest danger in Northern Sky now? It was not the battle in the Northern Border River but the arrival of the Beast Tide. Without a doubt, the foreign races in the Border River were restricted by the Eyeball Monster and the others. They could not invade Northern Sky with their armies. Otherwise, the foreign races would not have gone through so much trouble to send the Beast Tide into Northern Sky with the help of the power of the ancient Devil Cavity. It was an invasion but also a sign of weakness. It showed that the foreign races did not have the absolute upper hand in the Border River. That was why they played some tricks at the rear of the cultivators of Northern Sky. One had to admit that these tricks were very deadly. Most of the strong cultivators of Northern Sky had gone to the Border River to participate in the battle. The cultivators at the rear were mostly old, weak, sick or disabled. Such a rear was invaded by the foreign races time and time again, causing them to suffer heavy losses. Just within the territory of the Chu family, there had been more than 10 Beast Tide invasions. More than 10 cultivation planets were destroyed by the foreign races. In the entire northern sky, at least thousands of cultivation planets had been destroyed. Countless cultivators of northern sky had died. If I can solve the problem of the beast tide invading the rear, it will undoubtedly be of great help to the front line. However, how should I solve this problem? The cultivation of the fate-reversing lightning technique can improve my divination and deduction abilities. If my Tao of divination can improve further, I will be able to predict when and where the beast tide will invade northern sky and take precautions. This is a solution, but it doesn't solve the root of the problem. The foreign races need to borrow the power of the ancient devil cavity to send the beast tide. There must be a group of ancient devil experts who can use the devil cavity behind the foreign races. They are helping them to send the beast tide. If I can kill these ancient devils, it will undoubtedly solve the problem of the beast tide. However, these ancient devils are most likely hiding in the depths of the northern border river under the protection of the quasi-saints of the foreign races. Besides, those who can use the devil cavity are all peerless ancient devil experts. The difficulty of killing them is no less than fighting against the quasi-saints of the foreign races. My strength is still not enough. It seems like I need to improve my strength to better solve the problem at hand. Ning Fan remained silent for a while. Then, he suddenly took out the treasure-searching compass and searched it carefully. Then, he was greatly disappointed. He had once stolen a large amount of heavy wood in the eastern border river and concocted a large number of immeasurable pills, which made his strength skyrocket. This time, he planned to use the same trick again when he came to northern sky. However, after searching, Ning Fan helplessly realized that there were not many light spots of heavy wood in the direction of the northern border river. Northern sky was different from eastern sky. The foreign races in eastern sky did not value the immeasurable pills. They would not use the heavy wood to concoct pills. They would just absorb the wood chi for cultivation. Thus, the heavy wood could be kept. However, the foreign races were not the only enemies in northern sky. There were also the Devil Conferral Summit and the Dark Race. The foreign races did not need the immeasurable pills, but the Devil Conferral Summit and the Dark Race did. The heavy wood in the northern border river seemed to have been taken away by someone in advance. I'm a step too late. Have they all fallen into the enemy's pocket? Ning Fan frowned. Without the heavy wood in the northern border river, Ning Fan would need to find another way to improve his strength quickly. Forget it. I'll go and see how my old friends in northern sky are doing first. It was not easy for him to come to northern sky. He was very concerned about how Bei Xiaoman and the others were doing. There was also the Black Devil sect. There was also Old Devil's best friend, Wei Xian. Speaking of which, Halua Wei clan seemed to be in the next star region. Ning Fan took out the star map and his eyes were filled with nostalgia. When he was young, Wei Xian had taught him the Tao. It could be said that his talent in the Tao of formations was unlocked under Wei Xian's guidance. In a sense, Wei Xian could be said to be Ning Fan's half-master. Besides, Wei Xian was Old Devil's best friend. He had once fallen into the life-immortal realm because of Old Devil. His foundation was destroyed forever and he became a void fragmentation realm cultivator in his later years. Old Devil could not return to northern sky for the time being. He could not repay Wei Xian's kindness. Ning Fan needed to repay all of these on behalf of his master. I'll go to the Wei clan and treat Senior Wei. With my current strength, it's not difficult to help Senior Wei recover his foundation and ascend to the life-immortal realm again. Ning Fan had left for a long time. Bei Shi was still in a daze. Under the cover of the ghost mask, she could not see Ning Fan's appearance or sense his qi. However, she really felt that Ning Fan's back was inexplicably familiar. Zhao Jian. No. That's not right, no. That's not right. Unknowingly, strange scenes appeared in front of Bei Shi's eyes. Under the setting sun, a graceful young man was talking to the moss. That scene was too beautiful to behold. The morning breeze was warm and the young man went to chat with the mushroom again. That scene was breathtaking. Illusion. It must be an illusion. That young master mushroom is just a void fragmentation realm cultivator. How could he kill a third tribulation immortal king in an instant? I must be exhausted to have this illusion. Bayshore did not know that what she thought was an illusion was actually a kind of intuition. It was a woman's intuition and it was correct. Of course, she did not have that much time to think about it. After the incident of Scarlet Flame Immortal Monarch's abduction, the palace lord of the Lost World Palace, Yuan Yao, was furious. She sent someone to the Chu clan to fetch Bayshore back to the palace. She was worried about leaving her eldest daughter alone outside. Especially during these troubled times. The competition between the three palaces is imminent. The Great Elder intends to harm you and your sisters. He will not give up until he succeeds. Return as soon as you receive the message. Bayshore was shocked when she read her mother's message. The competition between the three palaces of the Lost World Palace has begun again. At this time when the entire realm is in danger. No wonder. No wonder the Qi Yan Immortal Monarch would come to harm me. Is it really for the sake of power? However, it was unknown if the power struggle between the East, North and West palaces of the Lost World Palace would involve all the sects in the Northern Heavens, in the Wei family of Heluo. Wei Xian had been in a bad mood recently because his position as the deacon of the Four Seas sect had been removed by the sect. In the past, the Wei family had offended a large number of forces in the Northern Heaven including the Pure Yang sect in order to protect Old Devil Han. That was why he was removed from his position. Settling the score after the fall is just as so. Brother Han, how are you doing in the Rain World? Looking at the time, your disciple Ning Fan should be ascending soon, right? Unfortunately, I have already been removed from my position as the Deacon of the Four Heavens. I can't provide much help to his ascension. Sigh. I wonder which of the four heavens he will ascend to. If it's the Northern Heaven, I will take care of your disciple even if I have to risk my old body. Wei Xian's face was filled with vicissitudes of life. Looking at the autumn leaves in the courtyard, he sighed. When people get old, they would love to reminisce. He recalled the time when he was young and roamed freely in the Northern Heaven with Old Devil Han. Then, he recalled the time when he taught Ning Fan about formations in the Rain World. In the past, he was like a tiger that could devour 10,000 li. Now, his heroic spirit has been reduced and his shoes are wet with the wind. Sigh. I'm getting old, master, there's a guest looking for you. Suddenly, a child ran towards them in a hurry and interrupted Wei Xian's sigh. Seeing the child's recklessness, Wei Xian subconsciously wanted to put on a stern face and teach him a lesson. As the saying goes, comparisons are odious. This child was his disciple. His aptitude was considered smart but his temperament was too impetuous. He was totally incomparable to Old Man Han's disciple who was calm and steady. However, after hearing the child's words, Wei Xian could not reprimand him anymore. Instead, he asked angrily. There's a guest looking for me. Is it someone from the Pure Yang sect again? Are they trying to find trouble with my Wei family? They have already visited us 3 times in the past month. No. This time, it's not someone from the Pure Yang sect. It's a void fragmentation realm cultivator who is looking for you. He said that he's an old friend of yours. The child explained. Void fragmentation realm? An old friend? Wei Xian was surprised and puzzled. He really could not think of a void fragmentation realm old friend who came to look for him. However, considering the other party's void fragmentation realm cultivation base, Wei Xian did not dare to neglect the other party too much. The Wei family could not be compared to the Chu family. They did not have an immortal venerable realm ancestral master. The highest cultivation base of the entire family was only at the life immortal realm. To such a small family, a void fragmentation realm expert was also considered as a distinguished guest. I wonder which void fragmentation realm expert of the Northern Heaven is looking for me. Wei Xian's face was filled with puzzlement and he went out to welcome the guest. The moment he saw the appearance of the guest, he was first shocked and then overjoyed. Little friend, you've finally ascended to the Northern Heaven? Good. You didn't let your master's teachings down. Ascended? Ning Fan was stunned for a moment and then burst into laughter. He was not a rookie who had just ascended to the upper world from the lower world. Senior Wei Xian seemed to have misunderstood something. Initially, he planned to explain to Wei Xian. However, at the next moment, he noticed the hidden injuries in his body. His eyes immediately turned grim. It was a new injury. It had been in this world for less than 10 years. Within 10 years, someone actually destroyed Wei Xian's foundation twice, causing his cultivation base to fall from the void fragmentation realm to the void refinement realm. Who did it? Ning Fan's eyes were terrifyingly cold. When he was young, Wei Xian was willing to sacrifice himself to help him increase his strength. Wei Xian was the old monster's brother and was even regarded as half a master by Ning Fan. Now that Wei Xian was bullied and his cultivation base was reduced for the second time, how could Ning Fan not be angry? Ah, it's just a small matter, just a small matter. Come in and drink some water. I haven't seen you for a long time. I wonder how you are doing. Wei Xian smiled bitterly and changed the topic. He did not explain much to Ning Fan. They were probably worried that Ning Fan, who had just ascended to the northern heaven, would be involved in the revenge of the first-rate forces in the northern heaven. Who did it? Ning Fan did not enter the room to drink the water but asked for the second time. Wei Xian felt warmth in his heart. He reached out his hand and patted Ning Fan's shoulder with a smile. I'm fine. Ning Fan no longer questioned Wei Xian. He knew that if Wei Xian did not want to implicate him, he would not say anything no matter what. However, the current him didn't need to care about those implications. In the entire northern sky, there were only a handful of powers that could make him worry. The person who hurt Wei Xian was obviously not one of them. Even if he was here, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Ning Fan squatted down and picked up a stone. Then, he asked some questions with a cold voice. Be it Wei Xian or his disciple, all of them were dumbfounded by the scene. They did not understand what Ning Fan was doing. After a while, Ning Fan stood up and said to Wei Xian. Senior, please wait for a moment. Junior is going to the Pure Yang sect. What? How do you know it's the Pure Yang sect? Wei Xian was extremely anxious. How could Ning Fan, a mere newbie who had just ascended, afford to offend the Pure Yang sect? One had to know that even the old devil who was incomparably arrogant in the past was greatly injured because he offended the Pure Yang sect. The current Pure Yang sect was even more different from the past. Different from the Wei clan, which was declining day by day, the Pure Yang sect also had an ancient old monster who relied on the power of the heaven-evading coffin to ignore the passage of time and lived from ancient times until today. This was the unique characteristic of the northern heaven. It was also the reason why he firmly believed that Ning Fan could not afford to offend the Pure Yang sect. Newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. This brat probably doesn't even know what an ancient old monster is. It's a peak existence above the four heavens. A casual finger of theirs can crush the Wei clan of He Luo to death hundreds or thousands of times. Ning Fan, wait. You can't. What? Just as Wei Xian was about to stop Ning Fan from going to the Pure Yang sect, his expression suddenly changed. He saw Ning Fan summoning the ghost mask in front of Wei Xian. His silver hair danced wildly because of his anger. Then, he took a step forward and disappeared without a trace. Wei Xian could not see Ning Fan's movement technique at all. That speed was too fast, so fast that it was beyond Wei Xian's imagination. It was countless times faster than an immortal venerable old monster that he had met by chance. This brat isn't at the void fragmentation realm. What? What realm has he actually cultivated to? Is he an immortal venerable? He's even an immortal king. Wei Xian was not stupid. Those who cultivated the Tao of formations were all extremely intelligent people. He had guessed a lot of things. For a moment, he was so shocked that he could not speak a word. Master, who is that senior? Is he the legendary ancient immortal venerable? Wei Xian's disciple looked at the starry sky enviously in the direction where Ning Fan left. Perhaps. Wei Xian was filled with emotions. Is he Master's friend? His disciple asked again. He is not a friend. He is the disciple of an old friend of mine. From this point of view, he is of the same generation as you. You can call him elder brother. Don't call him senior. With his personality, if you call him senior, he will blame you for being distant. Wei Xian saw through Ning Fan's personality with just a glance, just like how he saw through the old devil's personality with just a glance in the past. It's a lie, right? He is my elder brother. He is of the same generation as me. Wei Xian's disciple suffered a great blow. His impetuous personality was because he always felt that he was the heavens favored one of the younger generation. But today, he actually met an ancient immortal venerable who was of the same generation as him. What kind of blow was that? He simply felt that he had cultivated the Tao for his entire life in vain. When he was feeling complacent about being a rare void refinement realm cultivator among his peers, Ning Fan, who was of the same generation as him, was already an ancient immortal venerable. No, I misjudged him. He isn't an immortal venerable. Wei Xian suddenly said with a solemn tone. Phew. That scared me to death. Luckily he isn't an immortal venerable. Otherwise, how would I have the face to call myself the leader of the young geniuses in the northern sky? The child heaved a sigh of relief. He seems to be an immortal king. Wei Xian sighed with emotion. Master, you can't give me such a blow. The child was on the verge of crying. An immortal king was even more of a blow than an immortal venerable, all right? You must cultivate diligently in the future. You must use this elder brother as your role model. Wei Xian said earnestly. It's useless. I will never be able to surpass this elder brother in my entire life. I am not even as good as a seashell. I am even smaller than the feces of an earthworm. Wei Xian smiled when he saw his disciple who had suffered a blow. This child is still young. It's better for him to suffer some blows. Otherwise, he will never know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. However, Old Man Han really took in a good disciple. Chapter 1179. The Pure Yang sect was not far from the Heluawei clan. With Ning Fan's speed, he arrived at the place in the blink of an eye. The Pure Sun sect was a Duzhen sect, and its power in northern sky wasn't small. Of course, that was only the strength on the surface. According to Ning Fan's senses, there were 3 traces of ancient qi lying dormant in the Pure Yang sect. They were ancient and experienced as if they were in deep slumber. It's another old monster that relied on the heaven-avoiding coffin to live from the ancient times until today, huh? Furthermore, the Pure Sun sect is different from the Chu clan. There is actually more than one hidden ancient monster. It's just a Duzhen force, yet it has such a foundation. Ning Fan scanned the area with his sense and saw 3 fire coffins in the forbidden area of the Pure Yang sect. Each of the coffins contained an ancient monster that was sleeping soundly. That fire coffin was known as the Evading Heaven coffin, a unique characteristic of the Northern Sky sect. Ning Fan was no stranger to the heaven-avoiding coffin. He had already seen it when he first started cultivating the Tao because the old devil happened to have one with him. He even remembered a little about the origin of the heaven-evading coffin in the old devil's hand. It is said that in order to save his own woman, the old devil took it from the Pure Sun sect. Back then, the old devil took advantage of the seclusion of the Pure Sun sect master and touched the Pure Sun sect. Afterwards, he was chased by the Pure Sun sect and retaliated in principle. The old monster robbed other people's things first. The old monster must be in the wrong. Pure Yang sect will retaliate is also natural. Unfortunately, Ning Fan only liked to reason with others when he was in the right. Most of the time, he was an unreasonable person. Just by looking at one spot, one can know the whole picture. The stronger sects in the northern heaven should have the remnants of ancient cultivators that have survived until now. Rumor has it that the cultivators of the northern heaven rarely massacre sects and exterminate entire clans. The restriction of the heavenly law is one reason, but the fact that every sect and sect has a hidden old monster is also another reason. It makes every sect and sect fear each other. However, there is one thing that I don't understand. The heaven-avoiding coffin in Master's hand seems to be different from the 3 heaven-avoiding coffins of the Pure Sun sect. The old devil's heaven-avoiding coffin contained very little heaven-deceiving power and could only be used by low-level cultivators. The low-level cultivators lying in the coffins could deceive the heavenly Tao. Their corporeal bodies were not destroyed, and their vitality was not scattered. However, once inside, low-level cultivators would not be able to casually leave the heaven-avoiding coffin, making it rather inconvenient. The heaven-avoiding coffin used by the Northern Heaven's 10,000 ancient devils seemed to be of a much higher grade than the old devil's heaven-avoiding coffin. The power it contained was more than 100 times that of the old devil's heaven-avoiding coffin. Could it be that the heaven-avoiding coffin that the old monster took from the Pure Sun sect was only a low-grade version? It was no wonder that the old monster was not hunted down by the Pure Sun sect's 10,000-year-old monsters when he stole the heaven-avoiding coffin. From the looks of it, an inferior version of the heaven-avoiding coffin was not worth it for those old monsters to pay the price and walk out of the coffin. Forget it, those things are fine no matter what. Let's create some trouble first. We have already wasted a lot of time. Boom boom boom. Ning Fan transformed the power of his medicine soul into a cauldron. Just like what the old devil taught him in the past, he smashed the cauldron 3 times at the cultivation planet where the Pure Yang sect was located. This was the style of the Black Demon sect. Before bullying others, he would first smash the enemy's sect 3 times and call out all of their experts. As a result, the entire Pure Yang sect was dumbfounded by Ning Fan's attack. Even a fool could tell that Ning Fan had used an extremely powerful cultivation base when he smashed the Pure Yang star. Was this person an immortal venerable? Was he an immortal king? Is he an immortal emperor? It was even higher than that. How would the 3 immortal venerables of the Pure Yang sect still have the mood to sleep? They were all startled awake. Not good. Someone is smashing my Pure Yang star. The intruder is very strong. He is terrifyingly strong. What a terrifying magic power aura. The magic power that this person casually revealed has actually surpassed 10,000 tribulations. Moreover, 10,000 tribulations is obviously not his limit. 10,000 tribulations is the limit of magic power of a quasi-saint realm expert. Could this person be a quasi-saint realm expert? My Pure Yang sect is a small force. Why would we provoke a quasi-saint realm expert? Quickly apologize to this person. As a result, before Ning Fan could even begin to annihilate the entire sect and condemn the Pure Yang sect, tens of thousands of cultivators of the sect had already knelt at the entrance of the sect under the lead of the 3 ancient old monsters, welcoming Ning Fan's arrival. Especially the 3 ancient immortals of the Pure Yang sect who stood at the front. Each of them even bared their upper bodies and carried vines on their backs. Are they going to apologize to Ning Fan? Please forgive us, Senior. As long as Senior let us go, we will agree to any conditions. The 3 ancient immortals of the Pure Yang sect begged with tearful faces. Ning Fan was slightly speechless. He was a person who could be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force. Now that the other party was so understanding, he felt a little embarrassed to bully the Pure Yang sect. I am here to ask about the matter of the Haluawei clan. Ning Fan remained silent for a long time and finally explained. Upon hearing his words, the 3 ancient immortals of the Pure Yang sect were dumbfounded. The Haluawei clan? Did the Pure Yang sect offend this force? Speaking of which, does the Northern Heaven really have such a force? Lei Fuquan. Give this old man and the others an explanation. Give this senior an explanation. How did you become the sect master of the Pure Yang sect? How did you offend the Haluawei clan? The 3 ancient immortals of the Pure Yang sect obviously did not even know who the Haluawei clan was. However, they still called out the current sect master of the Pure Yang sect and criticized him harshly. The sect master of the Pure Yang sect, whose name was Lei Fuquan, felt wronged. He had been busy cultivating in seclusion every day to break through to the renunciation void realm. How would he have the leisure to bully the tiny Haluawe clan? It was definitely not his doing. Of course, he did not dare to talk back to the three ancient ancestors, let alone Senior Ghostface, who was suspected to be a quasi-saint realm expert. As a result, he called out the vice-sect master of the Pure Yang sect, Shin Chiodao. This sect trusted you so much and allowed you to supervise the Pure Yang sect during my seclusion. Is this how you supervise? As the Grand Elder, you actually went to bully the Haluawe clan that has the backing of a quasi-saint. You have disappointed this sect. Take your own life to atone for your sins. Lei Fuquan kicked the ball and kicked the responsibility to the Grand Elder of the Pure Yang sect. The Grand Elder had a face of grievance. He was busy flirting with his concubines every day. How would he have the time to lower his status to bully the tiny Haluawe clan? This was a huge injustice. Of course, he did not dare to talk back to the sect master. As a result, Hung Jinlong. How did you, the Grand Deacon of the Pure Yang sect, to actually be blind and run to provoke the Haluawe clan? The Haluawe clan is not something that our Pure Yang sect can afford to provoke. Why aren't you taking your own life to atone for your sins? The ball was cleverly kicked to the Grand Deacon of the Pure Yang sect. The Grand Deacon also felt wronged. However, he did not dare to talk back to the Grand Elder. Hence, Lu Debao. Don't you want to be an outer sect deacon anymore? Lu Debao was so wronged that he could not say anything. Hence, he pushed out his assistant, who was an itinerant immortal. Zhang Hu. Don't you want to be an acting deacon anymore? You actually dared to provoke the Haluawe clan. What do you want me to say to you? Plop. Zhang Hu, the acting deacon of the Pure Yang sect, actually turned into a ray of light and fled the Pure Yang star when he saw that the situation was not right. So, it was really the Haluawe clan that he offended. It was the one that caused Wei Xian's realm to drop. Zhang Hu never thought that the tiny Haluawe clan actually had the backing of a quasi-saint. It was actually able to make the entire Pure Yang sect admit defeat and apologize to the Wei clan. When the cultivators of the Pure Yang sect saw that Zhang Hu had escaped, they were all startled for a moment and then revealed a happy expression. As a cultivator, which one of them was not intelligent? Everyone could guess that the main culprit of offending the Wei clan was most likely this Zhang Hu. Otherwise, why would he need to flee in fear? Lu Debao sighed. At first, he just wanted to kick the ball and shirk his responsibility. However, he did not expect that he would kick the main culprit out. Ning Fan was rendered speechless by the farce of the Pure Yang sect. At this moment, he was already too lazy to annihilate this strange sect. He casually threw out a tribulation flash and blasted Zhang Hu, who had escaped far away, into pieces. In this way, it could be considered as helping Wei Xian vent his anger. Well done. Senior has helped our Pure Yang sect to eliminate a root of trouble. Our sect will always be grateful for Senior's kindness. The expressions of the three eternal elders of the Pure Yang sect were full of gratitude. It was too fake. Senior has worked hard. Servants, prepare a banquet and perform songs and dances. Senior, please have a rest in the sect. The sect lord of the Pure Yang sect, Lei Fuquan, who was like a shrewd person, secretly called for a few beautiful female cultivators of the sect, wanting to use them to appease Ning Fan's anger. Ning Fan dismissed the few beauties who were sticking to his body in disdain. He had seen a lot of strange people in his life of cultivation, but it was his first time seeing a sect like the Pure Yang sect that was so polite and cunning. Forget it. It seems like the other people of the Pure Yang sect did not bully the Wei clan. Wei Xian's matter will end like this, if that's the case, the matter about the Wei clan. As soon as Ning Fan opened his mouth, the Pure Yang sect immediately expressed their stance. Senior, don't worry. From today onwards, the Wei clan is a friend of my Pure Yang sect. In the future, no disciple will find trouble with the Wei clan. If the Wei clan needs help, my Pure Yang sect is willing to provide help at any time. Manpower, financial resources, anything is possible. The three eternal elders of the Pure Yang sect promised straightforwardly. Ning Fan nodded his head in satisfaction. Compared to slaughtering the entire Pure Yang sect, finding a friend of the Pure Yang sect for the Wei clan seemed to be not bad. Oh right, there's one more thing. I have an old friend named Han Yuanji. He once snatched a defective heaven-evading coffin from your sect and was hunted by your sect because of that. Ning Fan planned to ask about the old devil. Hearing this, the three eternal elders of the Pure Yang sect felt a chill down their spines and cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. They thought that everything would be fine after the matter with the Wei clan was over. How could the Pure Yang sect have other matters that offended this quasi-saint senior? Lei Fuquan. Give us an explanation. Give this senior an explanation. Who is Han Yuanji? No, why do you want to hunt him down? Do you think it's easy for him to come to our sect to snatch the defective heaven-evading coffin? How can you let him snatch it? You should give it to him. He is an old friend of Senior Quasi-Saint. He came to our sect to snatch our things. It's already giving us face. Forget it. Kill yourself to atone for your crime. The three eternal elders of the Pure Yang sect said firmly. Lei Fuquan wanted to cry. He didn't know about the matter with the Wei clan, but he knew about the old devil Han. However, hunting down the old devil Han had nothing to do with him. That year, he had been in seclusion from the beginning to the end. Otherwise, with his strength, how could the Northern Heaven Devil Han Yuanji snatch his things? Of course, he didn't want to kill himself. Thus, he decided to kick the ball. Shin Qiudao. Give me an explanation. That year, I clearly ordered you not to kill fellow Daoist Han Yuanji and not to harm the lives of others for a defective heaven-evading coffin. I told you to be kind to others. Why didn't you listen to me? The great elder Shin Qiudao was about to cry. Sect master is talking nonsense with his eyes wide open. In the past, when a little devil lord came to our sect to snatch our things, how could we not retaliate? How could we not take back our lost things? It's obvious that we're not to be blamed for what happened in the past, alright? Forget it. I'm just talking nonsense with my eyes wide open. I can do it too. Thus, he called out the great deacon Hong Jinlong and scolded him harshly. Then, he called out Liu Debao and sternly ordered him to kill himself to atone for his crime. Then, Ning Fan could not stand it anymore. He really wanted to know what kind of amazing person could create such a strange Pure Yang sect and have such a group of disciples and grand disciples. Crack crack crack. Just as the cultivators of the Pure Yang sect were trying to shirk their responsibility, the ground of the Pure Yang planet suddenly cracked open. Then, an ancient coffin with the chi of a quasi-saint flew out from the core of the planet. No one in the entire Pure Yang sect knew about the existence of this ancient coffin. However, when a quasi-saint old man with Pure Yang chi walked out from the ancient coffin, all the disciples of the Pure Yang sect were dumbfounded as they recognized the person's identity. The appearance of this person was exactly the same as the portraits of the Pure Yang ancestral master that could be seen everywhere in the sect. The founder of the Pure Yang sect had actually lived from the ancient times until today. How is this possible? Our Pure Yang sect is actually not a force of the pure truth pill, and we also have a quasi-saint realm expert. A bunch of bastards. If I still don't come out, all of you are going to throw away the face of my Pure Yang sect. All of you, go back and meditate in seclusion. Within a month, no one is allowed to walk out of the cave. The Pure Yang ancestral master was enraged. Even if the Pure Yang sect was razed to the ground by Ning Fan, he did not plan to show himself. However, who asked these disciples and grand disciples to make a fool of themselves? He was so angry that he came out of his coffin alive. Hence, all the cultivators of the Pure Yang sect who were gathered here were chased back to their respective cave dwellings by the Pure Yang ancestral master to meditate in seclusion. In the blink of an eye, only Ning Fan and the Pure Yang ancestral master were left. A first-level quasi-saint. Moreover, it's an existence that is about to break through to the second level. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly solemn. What kind of senses did he have? When he arrived at the Pure Yang star, he actually did not notice that there was an old quasi-saint realm cultivator hiding here. This person's ability to conceal his chi was just too heaven-defying. In terms of this ability alone, this person was enough to be ranked among the top 3 in the Dharma ending era. Perhaps even some grand cultivation realm cultivators were no match for him. I'm Pure Yang Zi. Are you fellow Taoist Xiao Jian who conquered the desolate land? The Pure Yang ancestral master waved his horsetail whisk and approached Ning Fan with a smile. However, that smile made Ning Fan feel a trace of hypocrisy. This is a hypocritical person. It's no wonder that he can produce a large number of disciples who are equally as hypocritical. However, this person's cultivation base is indeed not to be underestimated. Ning Fan reckoned that even if he uses all of his means and summons the undying soul-sucking tree which has the cultivation base of a quasi-saint realm cultivator, he would only have a 50% chance of winning against this person. If the chance of winning is 50%, even though Ning Fan was unwilling to fight against this person, he did not need to be afraid of him. It's me. Ning Fan answered. I see. It turns out that the famous ancient great cultivator Zhao Jian is just a small immortal king who deceived the entire world. The Pure Yang ancestral master smiled meaningfully. What he said was a telepathic message. He did not tell Ning Fan about his discovery. Obviously, he still had some scruples against Ning Fan and was unwilling to become enemies with him. However, his words still made Ning Fan's heart tremble. He was shocked because this Pure Yang ancestral master's eyesight was too sharp. His eyesight was probably enough to be ranked among the top 3 in the Dharma ending era. Even Taoist Mu Song, who had opened his eyes, was far inferior to this Pure Yang ancestral master in terms of eyesight. After all, if it's Taoist Mu Song, he might not necessarily be able to see through Ning Fan's background with just a glance. So what if I'm an immortal king? So what if I'm not an immortal king? Ning Fan asked noncommittally. Sigh. Fellow Taoist is really unhappy. I'm not looking down on you just because you're a small immortal king. On the contrary, you're able to cultivate 13,700 tribulations magic power at the immortal king realm. Moreover, you have some trump cards that even I feel threatened by. I don't dare to look down on you at all. If fellow Taoist improves your cultivation base further, there will be a day when I won't even be able to defeat your little finger. However, it's a pity that the purity of fellow Taoist's magic power is too low. If you don't solve the problem of the purity of your magic power and continue to blindly increase the quantity of your magic power, you will suffer the consequences of your own actions one day and follow in the footsteps of the undying great emperor. Follow in the footsteps of the undying great emperor? What do you mean? Ning Fan asked with a frown. 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold for one question. The Pure Yang ancestral master said with a strange smile. This person actually knows that I have heavenly Tao gold. This is no longer the extent of having sharp eyesight. It's more like he can predict the future, so that's how it is. This person's Tao of divination has already reached the divine realm. Or perhaps, he's just trying to deceive me. He doesn't know that I have a large amount of heavenly Tao gold and silver with me. Ning Fan shook his head. I don't have heavenly Tao gold. Sigh. Fellow Taoist is really unhappy. Fine, fine, fine. When fellow Taoist wants to quickly increase the purity of your magic power, you can come and look for me again. Since I dare to use Pure Yang as my Taoist name, I naturally have some experience in the matter of the purity of magic power. However, fellow Taoist must remember to bring enough heavenly Tao gold with you. I have been unstoppable in this world and I don't recognize father and son. I only recognize gold and silver. By the way, the Pure Yang ancestral master suddenly changed the topic and passed an ancient jade slip to Ning Fan. My Pure Yang sect seems to have offended fellow Taoist in many ways. Since that's the case, I'll give this item to fellow Taoist as compensation for what happened to Han Yuanji and the Wei clan. Qi, the Pure Yang ancestral master, turned into a ray of sun flames and disappeared. What disappeared at the same time was the ancient coffin that he was sleeping in and the gigantic crack on the ground. Did this person go back to sleep in the pure yang star again? Ning Fan scanned the jade slip with his spirit sense and his eyes revealed a strange expression. After a moment of silence, he still left the pure yang sect. What a pity. This young man has such a calm temperament. He actually wasn't tempted by the contents of my jade slip. Sigh. It's really not easy to earn his heavenly Tao gold. I wonder what are the chances of me winning if I snatch it from him directly. In the underground of the pure yang star, the pure yang ancestral master who was inside the ancient coffin pinched his fingers and calculated. Then, he shook his head and sighed. Only a 53% chance of winning. That's too low. This young man's hidden means are indeed terrifying. It's not wise to become enemies with him. Sigh. I can only wait for him to change his mind one day and then come back to earn his heavenly Tao gold. Ning Fan left the Pure Yang sect. The reason why he came to the Pure Yang sect was to help the Wei clan and the old devil vent their anger. However, after witnessing the farce of the Pure Yang sect, Ning Fan was already too lazy to bully the sect. After killing Zhang Hu a little, he had the thought of stopping. When the Pure Yang ancestral master appeared, Ning Fan no longer had the ability to annihilate the Pure Yang sect even if he wanted to. The Pure Yang ancestral master, according to rumors, the heaven-avoiding coffin that shook the entire northern heaven was invented by the Pure Yang ancestral master. Ning Fan had long heard of the great name of the Pure Yang ancestral master. However, he did not expect that this person was actually still alive. The phrase, hidden dragons and crouching tigers refers to a place like the northern heaven, right? However, there's one thing that this Pure Yang ancestral master lied. The reason why he appeared was not because he was angered by his sect. From the very beginning, he had been eyeing me. No, to be more precise, he was eyeing the heavenly Tao gold and silver in my pocket. If I'm not strong enough, this person will definitely make a move and rob me of my heavenly Tao gold and silver. However, this person's eyesight is too sharp and his Tao of divination is too profound. He sensed a threat from me and thus gave up on the idea of robbing me directly. Instead, he settled for the next best thing, which is to exchange items for money and earn my heavenly Tao gold. Ning Fan once again spread his spirit sense into the jade slip given by the Pure Yang ancestral master. In the jade slip, there was an incantation. The name of the incantation was Pure Refinement Art. It was not a complete incantation. It seemed to be only a part of the complete incantation. The function of the incantation was to help Immortal King Realm cultivators attain the purity of the magic power of a sixth tribulation immortal emperor in an extremely short period of time. The complete incantation seemed to contain more profound cultivation content. However, the Pure Yang ancestral master did not give those content to Ning Fan. That person was waiting for Ning Fan to take the initiative to purchase the content of the incantation. If this person only wants to earn my money through proper channels, I don't have to regard him as my greatest enemy. Of course, there's also the possibility that this person has other plans against me. I have to be cautious, however, this incantation is very helpful to me. I've been worrying about the matter of the purity of my magic power. I've tried to purchase similar methods to increase the purity of my magic power through the trading formation of the ancient country. However, there's no shortcut. Under normal circumstances, the purity of my magic power can only be slowly condensed through the accumulation of tempering. However, this pure refinement art is like a shortcut. If I have enough materials, I can even increase the purity of my magic power to another level within a few months. Currently, the amount of Ning Fan's magic power had reached a terrifying amount of 13,700 tribulations. This amount was much more than many first-level quasi-saints. However, the purity of his magic power was only equivalent to a third tribulation immortal king. This was the limitation of his cultivation realm. It was also the sequela left behind by Ning Fan's rapid advancement in his cultivation realm. As a matter of fact, there was no need for cultivators to pursue the purity of their magic power too much before the immortal emperor realm. At this stage, the purity of magic power did not have a serious impact on one's strength. However, The advancement of one's cultivation realm after the immortal emperor realm would focus more on qualitative changes, especially when one reaches the first level quasi-saint. The requirement for quality was extremely high. If one's magic power was not pure enough, many quasi-saint techniques would not be able to display their original power. If the purity of Ning Fan's magic power could reach the level of a first-level quasi-saint, he would be able to fight evenly with some weaker first-level quasi-saints with just his magic power. In addition to his techniques, it would be very easy for him to crush some weaker quasi-saints. Should I try the pure refinement art? Ning Fan pondered along the way and returned to the Wei clan. Seeing that Ning Fan had returned safely, Wei Xian did not ask Ning Fan how to deal with the pure Yang sect. He believed that Ning Fan had already helped him vent his anger. As expected, a few days later, the news of the death of Zhang Hu, a cultivator of the pure Yang sect, was spread to the Wei clan. It made Wei Xian's resentment for many years disappear. He was in such a good mood that he drank quite a lot of wine. However, as the news of the pure Yang sect continued to spread, more top-secret information began to spread in the eternal circle of the northern heaven. These were all news that ordinary people could not know. The four ferocious immortal sect had forbidden them from spreading. Shocking! An ancient great cultivator, Zhao Jian, attacked the pure Yang sect. 70,000 cultivators of the pure Yang sect carried thorns and asked for forgiveness. Shocking! The pure Yang ancestral master came back from the dead. He saved the sect with his unparalleled eloquence. Shocking! The pure Yang ancestral master and the great cultivator, Zhao Jian, reached some kind of deal in private. Shocking! The great cultivator, Zhao Jian, had hinted to the sect master of the pure Yang sect that he wanted him to serve him with beauties. Shocking! Ning Fan did not care whether the others were shocked or not. He temporarily stayed in the Wei clan of Heluo. It was not as Zhao Jian but as Ning Fan. The Wei clan of Heluo naturally did not know that a peerless expert had come to their clan. Thus, they did not treat Ning Fan well. However, Ning Fan did not care about these trivial matters. He was happy to live a low-profile life in the Wei clan. In the past few months, he was busy treating Wei Xian and cultivating the purity of his magic power. A few months later, a piece of good news spread across the entire Wei clan. Wei Xian, whose cultivation base had fallen for many years, had actually recovered from his internal injuries. His cultivation base had returned to the human profound life immortal realm. To the Wei clan, this matter was definitely a major event. Because the Wei clan, which had been declining day by day, now only had a life immortal realm cultivator left. The recovery of the Wei clan's cultivation base meant that the Wei clan had a second life immortal realm expert. Wei Xian, who had been neglected by the Wei clan for many years, instantly became the most popular figure in the clan. He was directly appointed as the great elder of the Wei clan by the clan master. Another few months passed. Another piece of good news came. After Wei Xian's cultivation base fell, he still continued to cultivate diligently. With the help of his many years of accumulation and the help of pills, he successfully broke through the bottleneck of the Ghost Profound realm not long after he recovered his cultivation base and became the only Ghost Profound life immortal in the Wei clan. This time, even the clan master of the Wei clan had to be careful when he met Wei Xian. Not long after Wei Xian broke through to the Ghost Profound realm, the third piece of good news came, making everyone in the Wei clan dizzy. It was said that the pure Yang sect wanted to form an alliance with the Wei clan because of Wei Xian. Master! You really have a great reputation. That's the pure Yang sect. They actually want to form an alliance with our Wei clan because of you. From now on, no one in the Northern Heaven sect will dare to look down on our Wei clan. A little boy was extremely excited and told the good news to Wei Xian. Wei Xian, who heard the good news, was naturally happy for the rise of the Wei clan again, but more than that, he sighed. What face did he have? Many of the benefits of the Wei clan, were all given by that brat. That's right, my brother still doesn't know about this news. I'll go tell him. While speaking, the little boy was about to open Ning Fan's door but was stopped by Wei Xian. Don't disturb your brother. He is currently at a critical moment in his cultivation. Wei Xian said solemnly. Do you want to tell the clan master and the others about my brother's matter? The little boy asked again. No need. This brat said that he doesn't want outsiders to know that he is here with me, Wei Xian sighed. Just like what Wei Xian said, the current Ning fan was cultivating in the room and had reached a critical moment. Condense, condense, condense. With the help of some rare immortal materials, the magical power in Ning Fan's body was being scattered bit by bit and condensed bit by bit. After a long time, Ning Fan exhaled a mouthful of turbid qi and stood up. He had stayed in the Wei clan for almost half a year. During this half a year, he used the pure refinement art as the foundation to completely scatter and condense his magical power. Just now, the last step of condensing his magical power was completed. After half a year of bitter cultivation, the purity of his magical power had finally risen from the third tribulation immortal king realm to the fourth tribulation realm. The total amount of Ning Fan's magical power did not change, but his qi had become much stronger. I really overestimated the pure young ancestral master. I didn't expect his pure refinement art to be even more incomplete than what I initially estimated. At first, I thought that this mnemonic chant would at least allow me to cultivate all the way to the 6th Tribulation Immortal Emperor realm. However, I didn't expect that the pure young ancestral master would still miss some words even though it was an incomplete mnemonic chant. That's right, the mnemonic chant that was incomplete in the first place is even more incomplete. I can still cultivate this mnemonic chant for those with 4th Tribulation purity and above. I can also barely cultivate this mnemonic chant for those with 5th tribulation purity and above. However, because of the missing words, there is a certain chance that my magical power will collapse and my cultivation base will fall if I cultivate it recklessly. Is this pure young ancestral master not willing to give me an extra mnemonic chant for free? Ning Fan was slightly speechless. At this moment, he was very sure that the pure young ancestral master was a greedy person. When dealing with a greedy person, if you can't crush him with force, you can only compromise with wealth. As expected, it was necessary for him to go to the pure young sect to buy the remaining pure refinement art from them. However, he would most likely be extorted. Achoo! At the same time, the pure young ancestral master who was far away on the planet of the pure young sect sneezed. Hee hee. It seems like that Zhao Jian is scolding me behind my back again. However, he should be coming to buy the remaining mnemonic chant from me soon. Money can make things happen. Hee hee. Money can make things happen, the pure young ancestral master smiled proudly. This time, if he doesn't extort Ning Fan ruthlessly, he would be letting down his identity as the titled god of wealth. No one knew that the pure young ancestral master had inherited the title of the previous god of wealth of the ancient heavenly court by chance. If this title is used, its power would be comparable to the power of a sect lord. Chapter 1180. Ning Fan quietly arrived at the pure yang star. When he was a certain distance away from the star, he suddenly used his technique to summon a teleportation portal of the 6 paths and stepped into it. At the core of the pure yang star, there were many profound seals that even quasi-sages could not break, preventing outsiders from entering. However, by relying on the teleportation power of the 6 paths teleportation portals, Ning Fan actually ignored the restrictions and directly appeared inside the core of the planet. What he saw was a bronze underground palace built in the magma of the Earth's core. In the palace, the pure young ancestral master was sleeping soundly in the ancient coffin. When he sensed Ning Fan entering the underground palace all of a sudden, he was shocked. This is impossible. The restrictions that I've set up around the underground palace contain a tremendous amount of the power of a title. Even if a second stage quasi-sage were to barge into this underground palace, he would need at least a few months to break through these restrictions. This lad was actually able to directly teleport into the interior of my underground palace without destroying the restriction. His means are simply shocking. The portal he used is very similar to the ancient devil's cavity, but only in appearance. The teleportation principle it contains is far superior to the ancient devil's cavity. In terms of divine ability compatibility, this divine ability was actually created by him. I can't believe he can create a teleportation spell that surpasses the ancient demons. 51% chance of winning, which is much lower than the previous time. This kid has only increased the purity of his magic power to that of a fourth tribulation immortal king, yet he's actually this much stronger. Pure young ancestral master's heart was filled with astonishment. Just as he flew out of the ancient coffin, he saw Ning Fan, who had a ghost-like face and silver hair, enter the inner hall of the underground palace with a smile on his face. Ha, fellow Taoist, your methods have really broadened my horizons. Fellow Taoist's self-created teleportation technique was able to easily break through my defensive restrictions. I'm afraid that in the age of chaos, few people can surpass fellow Taoist in teleportation techniques. Even the conceited elder devils of the Devil Conferral Summit are far inferior to your teleportation technique. Fellow Taoist Pure Yang, you're overpraising me. It's just a small trick. It's not worth mentioning. Ning Fan did not intend to continue the conversation on the Six Paths teleportation gate, which made Pure Young Ancestral Master feel slightly regretful. Fellow Taoist, are you here today to purchase the next part of the refinement technique? Yes. Did you bring enough Heaven's Path metal? I don't know whether I have brought enough or not. However, before we start this topic, I would like to ask fellow Taoist a question. How did you know that I have the heavenly Tao gold and silver with me? Ning Fan asked meaningfully. Ha! Good question. As usual, one question for 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold. The Pure Young Ancestral Master demanded a sky-high price. Obviously, he did not intend to tell Ning Fan his secret. He did not think that Ning Fan was willing to spend 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold in exchange for a mere question. As a matter of fact, even though the Pure Young Ancestral Master could vaguely sense that Ning Fan possessed a large amount of heavenly Tao gold, he could not sense the exact amount of gold and silver. In the age of chaos, gold and silver were scarce in the heavenly Tao. In the eyes of the Pure Young Ancestral Master, Ning Fan was already very impressive if he could have 1,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold. It was impossible for him to have more than that. Therefore, he could not imagine that Ning Fan actually possessed 29,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold. 500 taels, so expensive. Ning Fan pretended to frown and hesitated for a long time. Finally, he took out a storage pouch and passed it to the Pure Young Ancestral Master. You're right, fellow Taoist. 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold is indeed quite expensive. That kind of wealth is enough to hire a first-step demisage from the northern sky to help you once. Well, I don't think you can afford to ask that question. The storage bag that you handed to me is most likely empty. I don't believe that you are willing to spend 500 taels of heaven Tao gold just to ask about my background. The Pure Young Patriarch casually took the storage bag and checked it with his divine telekinesis out of boredom. Then, his jaw dropped in shock. It's real gold. This was the real heavenly Tao metal. 500 taels of silver. Not a single coin. This person was actually willing to spend 500 taels of gold of the heavenly path to ask a question. How much heavenly law gold did he have? 2,000 taels. 3,000 taels. Or even more. He seemed to have underestimated this kid. However, this lad seemed to feel the pinch when he spent the money. It was obvious that even though he had more heavenly Tao gold than I had guessed, it wasn't too much. You, boundless heavenly deity, struck it rich this time. The Pure Young Ancestral Master did not conceal the greed on his face at all. He hurriedly set up layers of restrictive spells and kept the 500 taels of heavenly Tao metal, as if he was worried that Ning Fan would take it back. Hey, I've spent the money. Can you answer my question now? Yes, of course you can. Fellow Taoist Ning, no, younger brother Ning. To tell you the truth, the reason why I could sense the heavenly Tao gold in your body is because I have a special title in the immortal world. Therefore, I am extremely sensitive to things like money. Even though you hid the heavenly Tao gold and silver in your body well, it still couldn't hide from the senses of my title. The Pure Young Ancestral Master had just accepted Ning Fan's money and now, he began to address Ning Fan as his brother. Ning Fan continued to pretend to be poor on the surface, but he was extremely speechless inwardly. Just as he had expected, this pure young ancestral master was a person who valued money as much as his life. Just by giving him 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold, he could make this person treat him as his brother. This person really had no bottom line and no integrity at all. This person claimed that he didn't recognize his parents but only recognized money. It turned out that he was not lying. Title: It seems like I had guessed wrongly. I initially thought that Brother Pure Yang's senses were sharp because of your extraordinary Tao of divination. I didn't expect it to be related to your title. I once met a Buddhist cultivator who also inherited a title. His title was Maitreya, but I wonder what is Brother Pure Yang's title. Ning Fan had always been thick-skinned. Since the pure young ancestral master took the initiative to address him as brother, why would he reject it? Hence, he also addressed the pure young ancestral master as his brother without feeling inappropriate at all. Hearing that Ning Fan still had another question, the pure young ancestral master was overjoyed. The second question is still 500 taels of silver. Ning Fan was astonished. Then, he revealed a troubled expression. It's too expensive. Can't it be cheaper? Sigh. Brother, please forgive me. My title is a big matter. It's also my biggest secret. Once outsiders know about it, there will be endless troubles in the future. Considering the risk of answering the questions, I'm already being very kind by offering such a price. The pure young ancestral master said shamelessly. All right. I'm really interested in my title. Fine, fine. It's expensive then. I'll just spend the last 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold. Ning Fan dawdled for almost the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. Then, he took out another 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold and handed it to the pure young ancestral master, hesitantly. Halfway through, Ning Fan seemed to have regretted it. He did not want to ask any more and wanted to withdraw his hand. The pure young ancestral master was quick to react. How would he give Ning Fan the chance to regret? He snatched the storage pouch away and laughed. Cultivators like us always keep our words. Once we've made a decision, how can we hesitate and go back on our words? It's too late for fellow Taoists to regret now. I'll answer your question now. I won't let fellow Taoists' money go to waste. What does it mean to be greedy for money? This is it. Ning Fan gave Pure Young 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold and Pure Young called him little brother. Ning Fan gave Pure Young 1,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold and Pure Young called him big brother. Ning Fan was very suspicious. If he was willing to give all of his heavenly Tao gold to Pure Young, would Pure Young be willing to call him father or ancestor? As a person who was about to break through to the second level of the quasi-saint realm, the pure young ancestral master was actually greedy for money. Ning Fan was also speechless. Of course, on the surface, Ning Fan still had to pretend to be distressed. He still understood the principle of not revealing one's wealth. The richer he was, the more he couldn't show off his wealth. Fine, fine, fine. The money has already been put into your pocket. It is too late for me to regret it now. Quickly tell me, what is your title? Ning Fan sighed. He did not stand on ceremony with Chunyang. Since Chunyang called him big brother, he would call Chunyang little brother. He. My title is the God of Wealth. As the God of Wealth of this generation, I am born with a keen perception towards gold and silver. I can even use some special secret techniques by consuming gold and silver. As for what kind of secret techniques I have, fellow Taoists shouldn't ask too much. Even if you give me money, I won't tell you. Chen Yang still knew the severity of the matter. Thus, he did not reveal all the secrets to Ning Fan. Ning Fan muttered to himself, so the pure young ancestral master is the God of wealth. Since the Buddhist sect had the title of Maitreya, there must be other titles for Buddhist cultivators. Since the celestial family had the title of God of fortune, there must be other kinds of celestial family titles. Titled battle pet warriors were as powerful and as rare as domain pet warriors. No wonder Ning Fan felt that the pure young ancestral master was extremely powerful. It turned out that he was a titled quasi-saint. Now that Ning Fan knew the background of the pure young ancestral master, he would be able to fight against him in a targeted manner in case he falls out with him. The benefits would be great. The money spent was not a waste. Hee hee. Fellow Taoist, do you have any other questions? Are you not going to ask any more? The pure young ancestral master's face was filled with anticipation. He still wanted to earn more heavenly Tao gold from Ning Fan. Ning Fan, however, did not want to ask any more questions. He shook his head and said, "No. If I ask any more questions, I probably won't be able to afford the subsequent purification art." Hearing that Ning Fan did not plan to ask any more questions, the pure young ancestral master felt regretful. However, once Ning Fan mentioned the transaction of the purification art, he became spirited again. "Fellow Taoist and I hit it off the moment we met. Of course, I won't overcharge you for the purification art. You don't have to worry about this, big brother. The incantation for purity of the fifth tribulation immortal king is 500 taels of gold, the incantation for purity of the sixth tribulation immortal emperor is 1,000 taels of gold, the incantation for the seventh tribulation is 1,500 taels of gold, the incantation for the eighth tribulation is 2,000 taels of gold, the incantation for the ninth tribulation is 2,500 taels of gold, the incantation for the first stage quasi-saint is 3,000 taels of gold, the incantation for the second stage quasi-saint is 3,000 taels of gold, the incantation for the third stage grand cultivator is 3,000 taels of gold." The pure young ancestral master beamed with joy. What did he mean by demanding an exorbitant price? That was it. If Ning Fan is foolish enough to buy all the oracular chant, he could earn another 16,500 taels of heavenly Tao gold from him. However, the pure young ancestral master was not too optimistic. According to his observation, Ning Fan was hesitant when spending money. Obviously, he did not have much money left. After spending 1,000 taels of gold, Ning Fan's probably only had 2 to 3,000 taels of gold left. "If I don't earn all the heavenly Tao gold you have, I wouldn't be called the god of fortune." Indeed, it was as the pure young patriarch had expected. After hesitating for a while, he decided to only buy the complete oracular chant for the fifth and sixth tribulations. He spent another 1,500 taels of gold. "Fellow Taoist, aren't you going to buy the oracular chant for the seventh tribulations?" The pure young patriarch probed with a meaningful tone. "About this. Let me think about it," Ning Fan said hesitantly. After hesitating for 2 hours, Ning Fan finally told the pure young patriarch that he would not buy the oracular chant for the time being. Not buying it for the time being means that he still has enough money to buy the oracular chant for the seventh tribulations. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hesitated for such a long time. Of course, it's also possible that he is purposely trying to confuse me. The pure young patriarch rolled his eyes. There were already many speculations in his mind. However, he still treated Ning Fan kindly and called him fellow Taoist and little brother. When Ning Fan left the bronze palace of the underground palace, the pure young patriarch even sent him off with tears and said reluctantly, "Fellow Taoist Ning, remember to come back and visit me when you have the time. If you change your mind and want to buy the oracular chant for the seventh tribulations, you are always welcome to come and buy it." Sigh. I better think about the oracular chant for the seventh tribulations. Ning Fan let out a long sigh helplessly. Then, he bid farewell to the pure young patriarch and left the pure young star. As soon as Ning Fan left, the pure young patriarch wiped away his tears and let out a strange chuckle. "I'm rich. I've made another windfall. I've earned 2,500 taels of heavenly Tao gold from this young man in just one transaction. If I devour this amount of heavenly Tao gold with the power of the God of Fortune, my magic power will increase by 250 tribulations within 10 years. Hopefully, this young man will change his mind soon and come back to buy the oracular chant for the seventh tribulation so that I can earn another fortune." Similarly, as soon as Ning Fan flew out of the range of the pure young patriarch's spirit sense, the worried expression on his face immediately changed. My acting is so strenuous. I wonder how much of my words are believed by that pure young patriarch. Ning Fan had been pretending to be poor. His acting might not be able to deceive the pure young patriarch's eyes, but it was enough to make him skeptical. I've spent a total of 2,500 taels of heavenly Tao gold on this trip. I've really been ripped off by that old man. If I don't pretend to be poor and reveal a little of my wealth, that old man would probably rip me off even more. That's also the reason why I can't buy all of the oracular chants in one go even if I have the wealth. With that old man's shameless character, if he knows that I have a lot of money, he will definitely raise the price on the spot. The god of fortune. This person's Tao seems to be related to money. I once obtained the imitation ability of the Treasurefall Divine Light, and sold it to the heaven-reaching sect for 30,000 gold taels. If I take out this technique, I can probably attract that old man's attention even if he doesn't have enough materials to cultivate this technique. If I sell the Treasurefall Divine Light to that old man, I wonder if I can earn some heavenly Tao gold from him. Forget it. Before I have the strength to absolutely crush that old man, it's better for me not to have too much contact with him. If he finds out that I have more than 20,000 taels of heavenly Tao gold with me, it will be troublesome. In the starry sky, Ning Fan flipped through the complete oracular chant for the 5th and 6th tribulations and fell into deep thought. As for the 4th tribulation's refinement chant, as long as there are enough immortal materials, one could cultivate it anywhere. However, the refinement chant after the 5th tribulations was different. It actually required one to find a place with extreme fire in order to cultivate it. A place with extreme fire. No wonder the old ancestor of the pure yang star stayed in the underground magma of the pure yang star all day. It must be because he wanted to cultivate the refinement chant and continuously condense the purity of his magic power. Ning Fan took out the treasure-searching compass. After searching for a while, he found hundreds of fiery red light spots of different sizes on the compass. Each of the light spots represented a place with extreme fire. The bigger the light spot, the stronger the fire elemental power and the more suitable it was to cultivate the refinement chant. Among them, there were more than 400 small light spots. There were 12 of them and the pure yang sect was one of them. However, there were only 4 large light spots. What Ning Fan did not expect was that one of the large light spots was actually pointing to the planet of the Black Devil sect. Other than the planet where the Black Devil sect was located, the other 3 light spots were very elusive and hard to find. Obviously, even with the treasure-searching compass, it would be difficult for Ning Fan to reach his destination. If that's the case, I'll go to the Black Devil sect. Speaking of which, I'm the 972nd sect master of the Black Devil sect. Since I've come to the Northern Heaven, I should go and see what the real Black Devil sect looks like. Moreover, I can also purify my magic power during this trip. It's a win-win situation. After I finish cultivating the incantation for the 5th and 6th tribulations, I'll go to the Pure Yang Ancestral Master to buy the incantation for the 7th tribulations. Speaking of the Black Devil sect, I actually miss my master a little, even though he's always disrespectful. Ning Fan's eyes turned gentle. Through time and space, he seemed to see the old devil in the past again. He was singing an unpleasant song while planting the Tao fruits. Then, Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He thought of Moksha Sovereign and the White Devil sect. In the past, the White Devil sect lured Moksha Sovereign with benefits, causing him to betray the old devil and assassinate him. Moksha Sovereign had already been executed, but the White Devil sect had yet to receive the punishment they deserved. This is bad. Very bad. To the young Ning Fan, the White Devil sect was a super force in the heavens that he could only look up to. To the current Ning Fan, the White Devil sect was just an ant. With Ning Fan's speed, he arrived at the Yin Yang star in a short while. The Yin Yang star was the main star of the Black Devil sect. According to the old devil's description, when he was at his peak, the Black Devil sect was flourishing. There were 48,000 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators and 7 Life Immortal Realm cultivators in the sect. Besides, the old devil, the true immortal Du Zhen, was also the leader of the sect. Thus, it could be considered as a strong force in the northern heaven. But now, Ning Fan sighed softly. With just a sweep of his spirit sense, he could sense the current situation of the Black Devil sect. There were only 2 life immortal realm cultivators left. The total number of cultivators in the sect did not even reach 10,000 people. The Black Devil sect had declined. Ever since the old devil fell to the rain world, the Black Devil sect had been declining day by day. Among the 7 life immortal realm cultivators of the Black Devil sect, 5 of them had already died on the path of cultivation. Ning Fan firmly believed that the White Devil sect must have played a part in the decline of the Black Devil sect. Thus, with his rain sense, he found the White Devil sect a few star regions away. The White Devil sect had bullied the old devil. With Ning Fan's personality, he originally planned to destroy the White Devil sect along the way. That was his plan. However, before he could make his move, the chi of a quasi-saint realm cultivator suddenly spread out from the boundless underground of the White Devil sect. It was a first-level quasi-saint. His spirit sense carried extreme coldness and swept across the starry sky where Ning Fan was. It was Ning Fan's first time encountering such an icy cold spirit sense. The owner of this spirit sense did not seem to be a weak quasi-saint. Unfortunately, when the quasi-saint realm's spirit sense scanned across the starry sky, Ning Fan was already gone. Strange. Why do I feel like I'm being spied on? Moreover, it's coming from the direction of the Black Devil sect. Could it be an illusion? The mysterious quasi-saint realm cultivator shook his head and continued to sleep in the heaven-evading coffin under the ground of the White Devil sect. Where was Ning Fan at this moment? At the moment when the quasi-saint realm cultivator spread his spirit sense to search for him, Ning Fan removed his ghost mask and hid on the Yin Yang star, mingling with the local cultivators of the Yin Yang star. When he arrived at the Yin Yang star, Ning Fan felt like he had arrived at his home ground. For some unknown reason, as long as Ning Fan, who was the sect master of the Black Devil sect, stayed on the Yin Yang star, even the spirit sense of the mysterious quasi-saint realm cultivator could not see through Ning Fan's true cultivation level. It was also because Ning Fan sensed the strangeness of the Yin Yang star that he did not continue to wear the ghost mask. Currently, the news of Zhao Jian, a great cultivator with a ghost mask and silver hair, had probably already spread across the entire northern heaven. If he wears the ghost mask, it would be easier for the mysterious quasi-saint realm cultivator to see through his identity. Thus, Ning Fan removed his ghost mask. It's strange. Why do I feel a vast power strengthening my body as long as I stand on the Yin Yang star? There seems to be something wrong with this Yin Yang star. No, it's not just seems. There is definitely something wrong with it. Why is the Yin Yang star where the tiny Black Devil sect is located in the top 4 places of extreme fire in the northern heaven? My master has never mentioned this to me at all. What's even stranger is that the tiny White Devil sect actually has a quasi-saint realm cultivator sleeping in the heaven-evading coffin. Does the White Devil sect know about this? Or is it the same as the Pure Yang sect which doesn't know that they have a quasi-saint realm cultivator? The White Devil sect is just a force of Du Zhen. Why would it have a quasi-saint realm cultivator? This doesn't make sense. I remember my master once said that the Black Devil sect wasn't called the Black Devil sect in the beginning. There was once an ancient sect in the 4 mysterious sects alliance that split into 2. One was the Black Devil sect while the other was the White Devil sect. These 2 sects were the predecessor of the Black Devil sect. It seems like the history of the Black Devil sect isn't as simple as I thought. There are many things that my master has yet to tell me. No. It's not that he doesn't want to tell me. It's just that when he was at his peak, his cultivation base was just at the crossing truth realm. There are many secrets that I'm afraid even my master doesn't have the right to know. For example, the ancient history of the Black Devil sect and the quasi-saint realm cultivator sleeping in the underground of the White Devil sect. Previously, I didn't expect the White Devil sect to have such a deep background. If that's the case, it's a little unrealistic to destroy the White Devil sect within a short period of time. It seems like I need to find out the history of the Black Devil sect and the White Devil sect first. First, it's the Pure Yang sect. Then, it's the White Devil sect. There are really a lot of quasi-saints in the northern heaven. As expected of the headquarters of the four mysterious sects. With the heaven-evading coffin to extend one's lifespan, the hidden strength of the northern heaven obviously far exceeds that of the eastern heaven. Could this be the reason why the Devil Conferral Summit focused their attack on the northern heaven? While Ning Fan was pondering, an excited voice suddenly resounded and interrupted his thoughts. Who are you, fellow Taoist? Why are you loitering around my Black Devil Mountain? Could it be that you are here to join my sect? A void fragmentation realm old expert of the Black Devil sect landed beside Ning Fan and sized him up excitedly. Currently, the cultivation base that Ning Fan revealed was only at the void fragmentation realm. Therefore, this void fragmentation realm expert of the Black Devil sect naturally regarded Ning Fan as a void fragmentation realm cultivator who came from afar. As the Black Devil sect declined day by day, there were already very few experts who would take the initiative to join the sect. Now that he had finally met one, the old expert was certainly very happy. Actually, I am the 972nd generation sect master of the Black Devil sect. Ning Fan originally wanted to say that. However, he stopped himself. There were still many mysteries behind the Black Devil sect and the White Devil sect that he had yet to understand. Before figuring out these problems, Ning Fan did not plan to expose his identity rashly in order to avoid attracting the attention of that quasi-saint realm cultivator of the White Devil sect. On the surface, the quasi-saint realm cultivator of the White Devil sect did not find the person who was spying on him and thus withdrew his spirit sense. However, what kind of senses did Ning Fan have? He could vaguely feel that the mysterious quasi-saint realm cultivator had only withdrawn his spirit sense on the surface. Secretly, a part of his spirit sense was still locked on the Yin Yang star, the Black Devil sect and every single movement in this place. I am indeed here to join the Black Devil sect. I wonder if your sect is still accepting void fragmentation realm disciples. Yes. Of course, we do. Ha. Because the competition between the three palaces of the Lost World Palace has started again, a great war between the sects of the Northern Heaven is imminent. My sect is suffering from a lack of places to replenish our combat power. If fellow Taoist can join our sect and solve our urgent problem, our sect will certainly give fellow Taoist a satisfactory reward. The elderly man said happily. The competition between the three palaces of the Lost World Palace? A great war between the sects of the Northern Heaven? What's that? Ning Fan instinctively frowned. Currently, the Northern Heaven was facing an unprecedented calamity. The Lost World Palace was actually still having a competition between the three palaces and the Northern Heaven was actually having a great war between the sections. These things sounded like internal strife for power and profit, killing each other. If that's really the case, the Lost World Palace and those sects of the Northern Heaven who are participating in the war are really ignorant. Do they really have to pick this critical moment to stir up trouble for their own people? Or perhaps, there was an inside story that he didn't know. Fellow Taoist, you actually don't know about the competition between the three palaces? Don't you know about the sect war? In the Northern Heaven, very few people who have stepped into the void fragmentation realm do not know about these things. Could it be that fellow Taoist has just broken through to the void fragmentation realm not long ago? Have you just stepped into the circle of void fragmentation realm experts? The elderly man asked in surprise. The cultivation base that Ning Fan deliberately revealed was at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. There were also strong and weak cultivators at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. It was possible that Ning Fan had stayed at the first heavenly layer for tens of thousands of years or he might have just broken through to the void fragmentation realm not long ago. The difference in strength between the two was huge. If Ning Fan was just a rookie who had just broken through to the void fragmentation realm, the help he could bring to the Black Evil sect would be much smaller. Thinking of this, the old man was somewhat disappointed and dispirited. Back when the Black Fiends sect was at its peak, the weakest participants in the great sect competition were loose immortals or loose devils. Now, even those who had just attained the void fragmentation realm were going to be sent to the arena. How sad was that? Sigh. It's always a good thing to have one more void fragmentation realm expert. It's better than nothing. Fellow Taoist, please follow me. I will bring fellow Taoist to see the vice sect leader. The vice sect leader will arrange a suitable cave for fellow Taoist to stay in. Chapter 1181. The void fragmentation realm old man who led the way for Ning Fan was already at the 8th heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. His name was Han Shichi. He was currently the 4th strongest expert in the Black Devil sect. Since Ning Fan did not wear the ghost mask when he came to the Black Devil sect, he naturally would not use the name Zhao Jian, Liu Bei, or Zhou Ming. However, what puzzled Ning Fan was that when he came to the Black Devil sect and the two-element star, he could clearly feel a strong boost to his power as a sect master. In the past, when Ning Fan obtained the identity of the Slaughter Palace and succeeded Sha Di, this identity had given him a boost to his immortal emperor aura force. Now, it was the same. As the sect master of the Black Devil sect, the two-element star was Ning Fan's home ground. As long as he stands within the territory of the Black Devil sect, his power could increase by around 30%. What kind of concept was that? In other words, Ning Fan's tribulation flash that was 10 times stronger than before could display the destructive power of 13 times in the territory of the Black Devil sect. In other words, Ning Fan's magic power of 13,700 tribulations was equivalent to the magic power of 17,000 and 8,000 tribulations. The magic power of 17,000 and 8,000 tribulations was already equivalent to the magic power of a first-level quasi-sacred realm expert. This was also the reason why the mysterious quasi-sacred realm expert of the White Devil sect could not sense Ning Fan when he was hiding in the Black Devil sect. Ning Fan never knew that as the sect master of a sect, he could actually obtain such a huge boost to his power. It was just unbelievable. The Black Devil sect or its predecessor was definitely not simple. Under Han Shichi's lead, Ning Fan arrived at the sect master's main hall and met one of the two life immortal realm experts of the sect. He was Han Jiu, a late human profound realm expert. Life immortals of the northern heaven would usually give themselves immortal names and Dao names. However, Han Jiu was different from a large group of old cultivators of the Black Devil sect. They had always used the names of servants that the old devil gave them in the past. Han Jiu was the vice sect master of the Black Devil sect. The other life immortal realm expert who was still in seclusion was also the vice sect master. The position of the sect master had always been empty. It was always reserved for the old devil or his descendants. Even though the old demon had fallen to the lower realm and had little hope of returning to Northern Sky, the elders of the Black Demon sect were still loyal to the old demon. Even though the Black Demon sect was being suppressed by the Northern Sky sects, they still did not abandon the Black Demon sect. Is this fellow Taoist Ning Fan who wants to join our sect? Good, good, good. A cultivation base at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. During the Great War between our sects, we will have one more combat force. Cough cough cough. Han Jiu showed a certain degree of welcome to Ning Fan. He did not put on the airs of a life immortal realm expert at all. Unfortunately, before he could finish his sentence, his injuries acted up and he coughed incessantly. With no other choice, he could only meet Ning Fan for a short while. After that, he had no choice but to go into seclusion to heal his injuries. Ninth brother's injuries are getting worse and worse. Those bastards from the White Demon sect are too ruthless. I'm not sure if Brother Jiu will be able to participate in the sect war this time. Han Shichi said worriedly. In his words, he called the life immortal, ninth brother. With Ning Fan's senses, he was 100% sure that Han Shichi and Han Jiu did not have any bloodline relationship. Even though they are not related by blood, a void fragmentation realm cultivator can address a fate immortal cultivator as his brother. Brother 17, why did you address senior Han Jiu as Brother Jiu? Ning Fan asked. Fellow Taoist might not know this, but me, Brother 9, and Old Man Black Fiend are all orphans taken in by the sect master. The sect master of our Black Devil sect is called Han Yuanji. When he was at his peak, he was also known as the ferocious Duzhen in the northern heaven. Unfortunately, now. After all, Ning Fan was a foreign cultivator. Even though he had joined the Black Devil sect, he was still different from the Old Man Black Fiend. Thus, Han Shichi did not plan to tell Ning Fan more about the old devils. I see. These people are all orphans taken in by my master. They are all loyal to him and can be trusted. Ning Fan thought to himself. Hee. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let me bring fellow Taoist Ning to choose your cave abode now. There are a total of 43 volcanoes around our Black Devil sect. Opening a cave abode on one of them is extremely suitable for fire cultivators to cultivate. Including the Black Devil Mountain, fellow Taoist can choose any of the 42 volcanoes in front of us and open a cave abode on it. As for the 43rd volcano, I suggest fellow Taoist not to choose it. Oh. Which one is that? The Savage Mountain. The Savage Mountain? Ning Fan was surprised. He was a little curious about the word Savage Mountain. Could it be a coincidence? Hee. The Savage Mountain is the secret of our sect. Even I don't know much about it. It is said that only the sect masters of each generation who attain the sense-breaking realm can know the secret of the Savage Mountain. In short, the fire elemental energy in the Savage Mountain is too violent. Absorbing the fire elemental energy there for a long time will be harmful to fellow Taoist. Of course, if fellow Taoist insists on opening a cave abode there, my sect won't stop you. Han Shichi treated Ning Fan with great courtesy. He had a good impression of Ning Fan because he was willing to join the Black Devil sect when it was in dire straits. He brought Ning Fan to visit all 42 volcanoes in front of them. However, Ning Fan still decided to open a cave abode on the 43rd volcano, the Savage Mountain, to cultivate. Sigh. Since fellow Taoist insists, I won't persuade you any further. Fellow Taoist, take these pills. These are 7th Revolution pills. They are called fire resistance pills. I personally concocted them. When you absorb fire elemental energy for cultivation, it can increase your body's defense against fire elemental energy and prevent your body from getting hurt. Of course, pills of this level are not enough to defend against the chi of flames on the Savage Mountain. Fellow Taoist, please be careful. Once you can't withstand the power of the Savage Mountain, leave immediately. When that time comes, I will bring fellow Taoist to the other volcanoes to build a cave abode. Seeing that he could not persuade Ning Fan, Han Shichi no longer tried to persuade him. After chatting a little more about the Savage Mountain, he left. In the blink of an eye, Ning Fan was the only one left in the entire Savage Mountain. Looking at the pill bottle in his hand, he smiled inexplicably. What a warm-hearted Han Shichi. Even though he had no use for these low-grade pills, he still accepted Han Shichi's kindness. The Savage Mountain was one of the 4 big light spots that the treasure-searching compass had sensed. It was the best place to cultivate the purity refinement technique. Because the chi of flames in this place was too strong, no cultivators of the Black Devil sect would build a cave abode here to cultivate. According to Han Shichi, only the sect masters of the Black Demon sect were able to cultivate here without being harmed by the fire chi. If the Savage Mountain was unwilling, even the Northern Heaven Quasi-Saint would not be able to take half a step into the Savage Mountain. If the Savage Mountain was enraged and the volcano erupted, even the Northern Heaven Quasi-Saint might be burned to death here without being able to escape. There were too many legends about the Northern Heaven. Most of the time, people would forget about them after they finished talking about them. They would not really take such stories to heart. Even Han Shichi himself did not really believe in such a saying. He was just casually chatting with Ning Fan about this matter. However, Ning Fan vaguely believed in such a ridiculous statement. As the land of extreme fire that was ranked in the top 4 in the Northern Heaven, no immortal emperor or quasi-sage of the Northern Heaven actually had the intention to invade the Savage Mountain. Wasn't it very abnormal? What right did the small Black Devil sect have to monopolize such a supreme cultivation resource like the Savage Mountain? Those people of the Black Devil sect alone would not be able to defend the Savage Mountain. The only one who could defend the Savage Mountain was probably the Savage Mountain itself. The fire elemental power contained in this volcano is too terrifying. The White Devil sect has a mysterious quasi-sage who is in deep slumber. Even though the Black Devil sect does not have any experts in slumber, they have a terrifying volcano. Ning Fan descended towards the Savage Mountain. When he landed 1,000 zhang away from the Savage Mountain, he clearly sensed an invisible flame barrier that wanted to stop him from entering the mountain. That invisible barrier was extremely terrifying. Without the barrier's permission, even the quasi-sage of the northern heaven would not be able to step into this place. That invisible barrier only allowed the people of the Black Devil sect to enter the area of the mountain. After sensing Ning Fan's identity as the sect master of the Black Devil sect, the invisible barrier would not stop him from entering. It allowed him to land on the volcano easily. Standing on the volcano, Ning Fan could feel the increase in his strength even more clearly. There's no mistake. The reason why he could increase his strength by 30% in the area of the Black Devil sect was because of this Savage Mountain. According to Han Shichi, the existence of the Savage Mountain is a great secret of the Black Devil sect. Only the sect master who has attained the sense-breaking realm is qualified to know the secret of the Savage Mountain. My master was only at the crossing truth realm when he was at his peak. I'm afraid he doesn't have the right to know the secret of the Savage Mountain. However, I do. Ning Fan randomly found a place on the Savage Mountain and opened up a cave dwelling. After entering the cave dwelling, Ning Fan directly used a low-grade earth escape technique and sneaked into the interior of the Savage Mountain. The other cultivators of the Black Devil sect did not know what the interior of the Savage Mountain looked like because only the sect master of the Black Devil sect was allowed to enter. It was the secret chamber of the sect master of the Black Devil sect. Of course, to enter this secret chamber, one needed to have a cultivation of around the late sense-breaking realm. Old Monster had never been here before, and it was unknown whether his master had been here before. Soon, Ning Fan arrived at the belly of the Savage Mountain and arrived in front of a palace made of black flames. The palace gate was closed. Outside of the palace gate, there were two huge black dragon statues. When Ning Fan approached the 3,000 zhang radius of the palace gate, the eyes of the two black dragon statues suddenly turned and came to life. Then, an ancient voice with a trace of saint's aura suddenly descended and suppressed Ning Fan's body. Show me the token within 3 breaths, otherwise, die. Ning Fan was secretly shocked. He did not understand how a small Black Devil sect could hide a saint's chi. However, the saint's chi was obviously not something from this era. It was something left by a senior saint in this place countless years ago. In other words, a saint had come to the Savage Mountain in the past. As for showing the token, Ning Fan did not know what he should show as the other party did not explain it clearly. However, Ning Fan quickly thought of something. The sect master token of the Black Devil sect. This was the token that the old monster had given to him in the past. Perhaps it was the token that the other party wanted to check, thus, Ning Fan took out the sect master token. Sure enough, after confirming Ning Fan's sect master token, the saint's aura quickly disappeared. The two black dragon statues that were originally alive also became inanimate objects again. The gate of the Black Flame Palace was opened for Ning Fan. The palace was empty except for dozens of black flame eternal lamps that never went out. Those black flames were the incomparably pure Black Devil flame. There was also an ancient portrait hanging at the end of the palace. That wall was not only hung with the portrait but also engraved with the cultivation insights of the previous Black Devil sect masters. Not every Black Fiend sect leader had a late thought-shattering cultivation base, and not every Black Fiend sect leader had a sect leader's medallion. In the long history of the Black Demon sect, the sect leader token had been seized several times by the White Demon sect and other forces of the Northern Sky. Therefore, in more than 900 generations of Black Demon sect leaders, only 100 or so people had come here and carved their cultivation insights on this wall. The old devil had never been here before. The line of words that was closest to the Old Devil's era was engraved by the 924th sect master, Old Ancestor Burning Desolation. Old Ancestor Burning Desolation was a late sense-breaking realm cultivator. He had engraved a lot of sense-breaking realm insights here. When Ning Fan finished reading this line of words, many of Old Ancestor Burning Desolation's insights automatically appeared in his mind. It was very magical. Of course, Ning Fan's insights were far beyond Old Ancestor Burning Desolation. These sense-breaking realm insights were not very useful for improving his strength. However, it was still very useful for building a solid foundation in sense-breaking realm. Ning Fan's cultivation base had improved too quickly. Be it the first step of true cultivation, Life Immortal, Du Zhen, Shedding Void, and Sense-Breaking Realm, none of them had experienced the accumulation of years. He did not have a firm grasp of the basics. Old Ancestor Burning Desolation's insights were still very helpful for Ning Fan to build a solid foundation. Ning Fan continued to read. In front of Old Ancestor Burning Desolation was the 923th sect master of the Black Devil sect. Further up was the 922th sect master and then the 905th sect master. Most of them were at the late or peak thought shatterer stage. Occasionally, one or two of them were primeval immortal sovereigns. After absorbing their lifetime of insights, Ning Fan's foundation became even more solid. It was as if he had gained tens of millions of years of basic cultivation experience. Ning Fan could tell that the period from the sect master of the 905th generation to Old Ancestor Fenji was the prosperous period of the Black Evil sect. After Ancestor Fenji, the Black Demon sect had declined until Old Mo's generation. The sect leader of the 905th generation seemed to have gone through a long period of decline, because going back up, it was actually the insights of the 651st generation sect leader. There was a gap of several hundred generations of sect masters. It was imaginable how much the Black Devil sect had fallen during those years. It was very likely that they weren't as powerful as the current Black Devil sect. The 651 to 634 generations were all about fragmented thoughts. Further up was a fault, directly tracing back to the comprehension of a group of 500 generations of sect leaders. Of the 500 generations of sect leaders, there were more than 10 of them. There were more than 10 of them in the 400 generations. There were more than 20 chapters in 300 generations. There were more than 30 pieces in 200 generations. Further up, it was directly traced back to the 59th generation sect leader. From the 59th generation onwards, there was no longer any fault. All the way up to the 2nd generation sect leaders' insights were there. During this period, all the sect leaders of the Black Demon sect were experts. The lowest cultivation base was at the immortal venerable realm while the stronger ones were even immortal emperors. In fact, the 2nd generation Black Demon sect master himself was a sovereign emperor of the Fire Palm realm. Moreover, during this period, there was more than one sovereign emperor. Other than the 2nd generation, there were 4 other sect leaders who had also comprehended the Fire Palm realm. Thus, Ning Fan directly inherited the insights of these Fire Palm realm. Of course, it didn't mean that one could directly cultivate the Fire Palm realm just by inheriting some insights. The Black Demon sect leaders who had come here had all obtained the insights of the sovereign realm from the 2nd generation. However, how many of them could truly open the Fire Palm realm? It was impossible for Ning Fan to instantly comprehend the Fire Palm realm. However, his bloodline of the Phoenix clan naturally possessed the power of the sovereign realm of fire. After absorbing these insights, Ning Fan's Yin-Yang Phoenix underwent a huge change. First of all, Feng Yin-Yang's power had grown, but it hadn't truly reached the level of a paragon. Secondly, the power of Feng Yin-Yang's palm began to undergo a qualitative change. That kind of qualitative change gave Ning Fan an extremely familiar feeling. The power after the qualitative change was very similar to the tidal power of Maitreya and Pure Yang Old Ancestor. Could it be? When Feng Yin-Yang reached the pinnacle of cultivation, he wouldn't be a sect leader, but a title? If everything is as I guessed, based on the fundamental difference between a title and a sect master, does this mean that if I cultivate the Phoenix clan's fire element title, I can also cultivate a fire sect master? If both of them are stacked, the power might far surpass that of a single fire the Arch or titled Phoenix the Arch. After pondering for a long time, Ning Fan looked at the wall again. He was looking for the first-generation Black Demon Sect Master's comprehension, but there was no first-generation's comprehension. If the second generation was already so strong, then the first-generation Black Demon Sect Master would most likely be even stronger. If Ning Fan could absorb his insights, it would undoubtedly be extremely beneficial to him. But why didn't the first sect leader carve his insights here? Ning Fan wore a puzzled expression. Eventually, his eyes fell on the portrait that he first saw and he understood something. It was the portrait of an elderly man in black robes. Judging from the chi of the portrait, he was a quasi-saint realm expert. Moreover, he was a sovereign realm quasi-saint. I see. This person is the first Black Demon Sect Master. He didn't leave any insights but a self-portrait. This portrait isn't a magic treasure but a kind of inheritance. All the insights of the first Black Demon Sect Master are contained in this portrait. Green light flashed in Ning Fan's eyes. In just a few breaths, he had seen through many secrets of this portrait. However, he was a little confused. Previously, when he entered this palace, his identity had been checked by the Sage Realm Aura Pressure. The first Black Demon Sect Master didn't seem to be a sage. He was just a first-level quasi-saint. Then, here comes the question. Who was the one who left the Sage Realm Aura Pressure inside the palace? That sage doesn't seem to be one of the previous Black Demon Sect Masters. Could it be an expert from before the establishment of the Black Demon Sect? Could it be an expert from the previous sect of the Black Demon Sect? The more he thought about it, the more confused he became. Ning Fan decided not to think about this ancient history anymore. He began to calm his mind and closed his eyes to comprehend the portrait of the first Black Demon Sect Master. To the previous Black Demon Sect Masters, as long as they have a late thought fragmentation realm cultivation base, they would be able to enter this place and obtain opportunities to comprehend the insights of the second Black Demon Sect Master and the other Sect Masters after them. However, the portrait of the first Black Demon Sect Master was an exception. All the insights of the first Black Demon Sect Master were hidden in the portrait. It contained the abilities of a quasi-saint realm expert. It was impossible to comprehend this portrait with just the magic power of a thought fragmentation realm expert. Even if one had the magic power of an immortal venerable, it was still not enough. One must at least have the magic power of an immortal king realm expert in order to comprehend this portrait. Ning Fan was qualified to do so. Thus, for an entire month, Ning Fan stayed in seclusion inside the palace. 1 month later, he finally tore apart all the abilities of a quasi-saint realm expert in the portrait and came into contact with the insights of the first Black Demon Sect Master. People call me the Black Demon Patriarch, but that's not my real name. My real name is Nan Xuanzi. In the past, the Black Demon Sect and the White Demon Sect were originally one sect. They were the two forms sect in the ancient times. So, the predecessor of the Black Demon Sect and the White Demon Sect was called the Two Forms Sect. Ning Fan searched through his memories. The name Two Forms Sect was really unfamiliar to him. He had rarely heard of it in the cultivation world. The Two Forms Saint was once the chief of the 400 saints under the Immortal Sovereign. The Immortal Army of the Three Divisions was the main force of Immortal Sovereign Zido. Unfortunately, in order to save his disciple, the Two Forms Saint went against Samsara. His sea of consciousness was destroyed and his cultivation base was crippled. He became a madman and became the laughingstock of the true world. As for the Immortal Army of the Three Divisions, it declined after the Two Forms Saint was killed. Only the disciples of the Two Forms Sect were left. The Two Forms Sect consists of the Black and White sects. I was originally the sect master of the Black Sect. However, one day, when I went out to visit the Tao, I actually met an unimaginable person in an unimaginable place. My ancestor, Divine Master Nangong of the Immortal Army of the Three Divisions, is actually still alive. He gave me a desolate mountain and asked me to split the two forms sect into the black and white sects. I don't know the reason behind it. Thus, even though my ancestor ordered me to do so, I still insisted on my own principles and resolutely rejected him. I'm not willing to ruin the two forms saint's legacy. Tens of thousands of years later, divine healer Nangong was harmed by someone he trusted. Only after hearing the news did I realize that everything I had seen and heard in the past was a huge lie. At that time, I was traveling through the wildlands, and I suddenly heard about this tragedy. I angrily rebuked the heavens, wanting to break off all relations with them, and provoked the wildlands' heavenly Tao to send down 1,000,000,000 catastrophes to kill me. Fortunately, the soul of the heavenly Tao of the wilderness intervened. She seemed to have sensed a trace of her master's karmic connection from me. She couldn't bear to see me die, so she paid the price to prevent the 1,000,000,000 eons from descending. Without a benefactor to save me, I will definitely die. After that, I split the Yin and Yang sect into two sections. The white sect belonged to the trader of the ancient heavenly court, Extreme Ice Supreme Immortal, while the black sect was renamed the Black Demon sect by me. The two words Black Demon was a taboo for my benefactor. I used it to remind myself that I will never forget the wildlands' heavenly Tao Hun's life-saving grace. Junior, the successor of the Black Devil, if you can hear this, you must personally head to the wildlands and kowtow to the wildlands' heavenly Tao soul on my behalf. Ning Fan's face revealed a strange expression. There was a lot of information in these few paragraphs. Not only did it explain the long history of the Black Demon sect, but it also mentioned the wild heavenly Tao soul, Black Demon. He didn't expect that Black Demon had saved the life of the Black Demon sect's first sect master. Who would have thought that first generation would actually name the Black sect of the Two Rights sect after it split into Black Demon sect in order to thank Little Cat? He didn't expect that as the successor of the Black Devil, he would have to go to the wilderness and kowtow to Little Cat, after hearing these words. Little Mao, when you were in the heavenly Tao soul of the wild desolate, did you save a cultivator called Nan Xuanzi? Ning Fan asked Little Mao, who was in the profound Yin world. I don't remember. When the little cat submitted to Ning Fan, her memory was already very incomplete. It was not strange for her to forget about it. Are there any other heavenly Tao souls in the wilderness? No, it's just me. Doesn't Master know? Black Demon didn't understand. Oh, then it's you. You're the one who saved Nan Xuanzi back then. The reason why the Black Demon sect is called the Black Demon sect is because of you. Do you know? I'm the 972nd sect leader of the Black Devil sect. Nan Xuanzi is the ancestor of my sect. He's my master's 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 master. He ordered me to kowtow to you a few times. I'm in a dilemma. I don't know if I should listen to him or not. Ning Fan was speechless. He did not like to kowtow to others in the first place. He did not want to kowtow to his little cat even more. Damn it. Who is Nan Xuanzi? I feel like I've heard it somewhere before. I can't remember it clearly. Humph. He actually dares to order Master to kowtow to Black Demon, a servant. Does he want Black Demon to bear the bad reputation of bullying Master? Damn it. Damn it. Black Demon doesn't allow Master to kowtow to Black Demon. If Master does that, I will no longer have the face-to-face Master. I can only kill myself to apologize. So serious? Then, I can't kowtow to him anymore. When I first heard that you're called Black Demon, I felt that you and I are fated. I didn't expect that the two words Black Demon have so many origins. It's not just a coincidence. Is this karma? Is this samsara? The name Black Demon was originally given by Master, right? Master, don't you remember it? Black Demon asked in confusion. He did not understand why Ning Fan was sighing with emotion. I gave you a name. When I first met you, you were already called Black Demon, right? Ning Fan said with a frown. He did not think that Black Demon was joking with him. Because when he first subdued Black Demon had already recognized him as his master. At first, he thought that it was because he had the identity of the barbarian god. Now, it seemed like that was not the case. It's the name that Master personally gave to Black Demon. However, Black Demon's memory isn't good. I can't remember when Master did this. It should be a very long time ago. Black Demon still remembers what Master said at that time. Even though I can't remember everything. Thus, Black Demon revealed an ancient memory that was related to Ning Fan in the depths of his mind for the first time. Previously, he thought that Master still remembered this matter. Thus, he did not mention it. Now, it seems like Master doesn't remember what he said in the past. My name is Ni Fan. I'm a barbarian cultivator but also not a barbarian cultivator. What I'm looking at isn't an ant. I'm waiting. Waiting for a meeting with a butterfly. No. This time, I'm not waiting for a butterfly. I'm waiting for that cocoon, that green insect. Or perhaps, I'm waiting for a trace. A strong wind can blow away a piece of white paper but it can't blow away a butterfly. The power of Tao lies in this kind of disobedience. He opens, he closes, he closes, he opens. I often wonder if the reason why he couldn't see me in the past 42 reincarnations is because I'm unwilling to close my eyes. If that's the case, he can't open his eyes. You want me to give you a name? I'm not very good at giving names. Let's call you Black Demon. This name just happens to be the completion of your reincarnation cycle. I'm going to leave. When the barbarian god appears for the 10th time, I'll come back and bring you away. Ning Fan was shocked. At this moment, he did not have the mood to listen to the words behind the portrait. It was because he felt that compared to the secrets of the Black Demon sect, the words of his little cat were much more shocking. Ni Fan. It's this name again. How many times has it appeared on his path of cultivation? Who exactly is Ni Fan? He's not looking at an ant. Instead, he's waiting for an encounter with a butterfly. An encounter? Could it be the kind of encounter that I understand? He named Little Cat Black Demon because this name represents the completion of her reincarnation cycle. Could it be? When the barbarian god appears for the 10th time, Ni Fan will return. That's right. Ni Fan is the real master of Little Cat Black. As for Ning Fan, he is the 10th barbarian god. When he succeeds as the 10th barbarian god, it will be the 10th time when the barbarian god appears. Wait. Ni Fan had waited for 42 reincarnations. Ning Fan's expression suddenly changed. He turned into a ray of light and dashed into the interior of the Savage Mountain. He stood at the peak of the Savage Mountain. It was the 43rd volcano of the Black Demon sect. There were 42 other volcanoes with extremely low fire elemental power in the surroundings. Many of the Black Demon sect's disciples had built their own cave dwellings on them. 42 reincarnations. 42 mountains. Could it be? Ning Fan left the Savage Mountain with a chi sound and flew to a volcano at the side, the Blazing Mountain. He directly entered the belly of the Blazing Mountain. He wanted to see if there was any evidence of reincarnation in the belly of the Blazing Mountain. Unfortunately, there was nothing in the belly of the Blazing Mountain. However, when Ning Fan superimposed all of his reincarnation power with the heavenly being Dharma Eye and went to look at the belly of the Blazing Mountain, he saw the traces of reincarnation that were once left behind. Just like in the previous reincarnation, the Blazing Mountain was not the same as it was now. There seemed to be a palace in the belly of the mountain. A place that was similar to the palace in the Savage Mountain. So this is karma and samsara. If this is the 43rd reincarnation, has Ni Fan waited for me? Ning Fan pondered. Chapter 1182. Standing on the flaming mountain, Ning Fan was deeply touched. Since he was born, it was his first time seeing reincarnation at such a close distance. He saw himself in another parallel universe. 42 reincarnations and 42 volcanoes. Perhaps this is not a coincidence. Ning Fan seemed to have obtained some kind of epiphany. Many things that he did not understand about reincarnation in the past became clear at this moment, and his understanding deepened. If the space of reincarnation that he was currently in was set as the 43rd reincarnation, then the traces of reincarnation on the flaming mountain should be left behind in the previous reincarnation, the 42nd reincarnation. The order of the time and space between them had a primary and secondary relationship on the level of causality. Among those traces of reincarnation, Ning Fan sensed a familiar yet strange qi. Ni Fan's qi. Other than the savage mountain, each of the other 42 volcanoes had traces of Ni Fan's presence. Those traces did not exist in this time and space. Instead, they existed in other parallel universes. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with nostalgia. He remembered that the first time he met Ni Fan was during the chaos of the savage wasteland. At that time, he met an enemy named Xinjia. The enemy held a space-piercing stone in his hand. The two words Ni Fan were carved on the stone. At that time, there was an ancient demon Fu Li sealed inside the stone. That ancient demon Fu Li was Ni Fan. Ni Fan was released from the space-piercing stone by Xinjia. Xinjia's original intention was to use Ni Fan's power to kill Ning Fan. At first, Ni Fan's consciousness was not clear, and he also wanted to kill Ning Fan. However, soon after, Ni Fan sensed Ning Fan's Fu Li Qi and stopped his attack. Then, he turned into ashes. However, at the last moment before Ni Fan turned into ashes, his eyes suddenly regained clarity and he smiled at Ning Fan. It was as if he had gained enlightenment, understood, satisfied and gratified. Ning Fan could never forget Ni Fan's smile at that time. That smile was like the past and future of the same person intertwined together. It was like his own self from different time and space was meeting and smiling at him. Ning Fan then remembered that he had once fallen into an illusion in the Supreme Pill's sacred region and the Yellow Spring. In those illusions, he became Ni Fan. He rode the heavenly crow dog who had the cultivation base of a sage realm and broke into the 6 paths of reincarnation to start a massacre. Ning Fan also recalled that when he first met the Sword Ancestor's skeleton in the Supreme Pill's sacred region, the Sword Ancestor had told him some inexplicable words. One of the words he said was like this. "So it's Ning Fan. So it's not Ni Fan. No wonder I couldn't find him after searching for so long." The repeated experiences had made Ning Fan believe that he had a close relationship with this Ni Fan. After listening to Black Devil's words, Ning Fan seemed to have found more evidence to prove that he and Ni Fan were actually the same person. If Ning Fan's reincarnation cycle is compared to a circle, then Ni Fan's reincarnation circle did not exist. However, if Ning Fan's reincarnation cycle still exists in the previous parallel time and space, then he could find Ni Fan in the previous parallel time and space. Ni Fan might not necessarily be Ning Fan's past. He might also be Ning Fan's future. He might even be an existence that was different from the past and future, similar to materialization. These concepts were very difficult to understand. Ning Fan did not dare to think about it too deeply. For something like reincarnation, the more you tried to find the source, the more you couldn't find it. The more you tried to look at it, the more you couldn't understand it. It was because the reincarnation itself had countless contradictory answers. In this world, there existed heaven-defying abilities such as the fate-reversing lightning technique and the devil cavity of the ancient devils. After cultivating them to the peak, cultivators could travel across different samsara time and space. They could travel freely between the past, present, and future of the same samsara. In the past, there were some cultivators who could not see through reincarnation. After learning about the existence of such secret techniques, they began to think about all kinds of strange and bizarre reincarnation paradoxes. Ning Fan had once seen similar paradoxes in some rare ancient records. One of the paradoxes: if a person could really return to the past, what would happen if this person killed his maternal grandmother before she became pregnant with his mother? In the eyes of those cultivators, if this person's maternal grandmother dies, the history of the past would be changed. Then, this person's mother would not be born and this person would not be born. Hence, these people firmly believed that this person's existence would be erased by reincarnation. However, if this person's existence was erased, he would no longer have the ability to return to the past and kill his maternal grandmother. This result was obviously inconsistent with the fact that he killed his maternal grandmother. The starting point and the ending point could not be connected. It was an unexplainable paradox. In order to explain this paradox, another group of people invented the concept of parallel time and space. If the maternal grandmother that this person killed was not the maternal grandmother of the time and space he was in but the maternal grandmother of another parallel time and space, wouldn't everything make sense? Parallel time and space would not interfere with each other. This was the answer that the second group of people came up with. Then, here comes the question, the third group of people began to ask questions. Would killing the maternal grandmother of a parallel time and space really not affect the history of his own time and space? Who proved this conclusion? Alright, let's assume that it really won't affect it. What if this person does not go to the parallel time and kill his maternal grandmother this time but kills his maternal grandmother in the past of his own time and space? This time, they were not allowed to use the concept of parallel time and space to avoid this paradox. This time, if this person kills the maternal grandmother of his current time and space, his own existence would certainly be erased. In that case, after being erased, he would no longer have the ability to return to the past. Then, what should he do to make the reincarnation complete and complete the act of killing his maternal grandmother? The reason why a paradox was called a paradox was not because there was no answer but because the answer was beyond one's common sense. From Ning Fan's point of view, as long as a certain cultivator begins to study such a boring paradox, it meant that he had already stepped into the wrong path of reincarnation. One could not see the true face of Mount Lu only because he was in this mountain. If you stand in the reincarnation and study it, what's so strange about not being able to find the answer? It's because the answer might have long exceeded your common sense. It's not something that you can deduce with common sense and theories. Even if you really deduce an answer and the answer seems to be very reasonable, the answer is probably still wrong. Studying reincarnation is too brain-burning. Therefore, even though Ning Fan vaguely felt that he and Ni Fan were the same person and he could feel that Ni Fan had left traces of reincarnation in the Black Devil sect, he did not plan to delve into these mysteries of reincarnation. He knew that the common sense that he currently possessed about reincarnation was not enough to find the answer at all. Even if he forcefully tries to find the answer, it might not necessarily be correct. If I feel that there's something strange about reincarnation, it only means that I've lived for a short period of time and I've seen too little. If I feel that there's a contradiction in the cause and effect of something in reincarnation, it only means that my current common sense about reincarnation is not enough to see through the true cause and effect of this matter. The mysteries of reincarnation are so fascinating. However, it's also because of this that I won't touch this kind of thing right now. I won't seek trouble for myself. As for that so-called maternal grandmother paradox, I'm not interested in knowing the answer to that paradox. What I want to know more is which crazy cultivator was the one who first proposed this paradox. Wanting to go back to the past and kill his own maternal grandmother. Just how much does this person hate his maternal family? Is there something wrong with his brain? Ning Fan was speechless. He was indeed a person with a strong Tao heart. Even though the matter regarding Ni Fan had brought him a great shock, he still managed to calm down about 70% of his mental state within a very short period of time. After heaving a long sigh of relief, Ning Fan returned to the Savage Mountain. He spent a few more days to completely calm down the rest of his mental state. After recovering to his peak state, Ning Fan once again went to the secret chamber of the sect master of the Black Devil sect to receive the remaining memories and insights of the first sect master of the Black Devil sect. Exalted Immortal Extreme Ice hated me for splitting the Heaven and Earth sect. Thus, he changed the name of the White sect to the White Devil sect and repeatedly went against me. Unfortunately, I'm a Palm Realm quasi-saint. He wasn't a match for me. Thus, he couldn't succeed. Since I had the help of the remaining Zhu Rong conferred power in the Savage Mountain, I was able to gain a foothold in the Black Devil sect and increase my overall strength by 30%. After that, Exalted Immortal Extreme Ice invited 3 other quasi-saints to join forces to destroy my Black Devil sect and seize the Savage Mountain. However, in the end, they were defeated by my combined power of Conferred Power and Palm Realm. Exalted Immortal Extreme Ice's body was severely injured. He fled back to the White Devil sect and went into a deep slumber. Since then, he has vanished without a trace. However, I couldn't bear to kill him for the sake of our friendship in the past. After listening to this part, Ning Fan frowned. He had figured out the identity of the sleeping quasi-saint in the White Devil sect. That Extreme Ice quasi-saint was probably the traitor of the ancient heavenly court that was mentioned in the memories of the first sect master of the Black Devil sect, Exalted Immortal Extreme Ice. What made Ning Fan more concerned was that the first sect master of the Black Devil sect mentioned the power of the conferred title. The reason why the Savage Mountain could increase the sect master's strength by 30% was actually because the mountain contained the power of the Zhu Rong title. In the long history of the cultivation world, the name Zhu Rong had appeared quite frequently. Every time it appeared, it was related to fire. If the Savage Mountain really possesses the power of the Zhu Rong title, then the fact that its magma could burn a quasi-saint to death would make sense. The Zhu Rong title seems to be a title of the fire element. It can indeed be used by combining the power of the Fire Palm realm. However, I wonder if the title I will obtain after cultivating the Yin-Yang Phoenix technique to the extreme will also be the Zhu Rong title, or will I obtain another title of the fire element. Ning Fan cleared the distracting thoughts in his mind and continued to listen to the first sect master's words. The power of the Zhu Rong title was left behind by the Two Rights Saint. It is the proof that my Black Devil sect is in control of the Two Rights sect. The White Devil sect is unorthodox. Even though my Black Devil sect has split from the Two Rights sect, there is one thing that we must remember. My Black Devil sect can disrespect the Two Rights sect and even the Purple Do Immortal Domain. However, we cannot disrespect the Two Rights Saint. The ancestor of the Black Devil sect is definitely not an ant like me, Nan Xuanzi. He is the Two Rights Saint. This portrait contains my comprehension of fire cultivation in my entire life. The disciples of the future generations will naturally benefit from it. Up to this point, a large amount of comprehension of fire cultivation finally began to be transmitted into Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. This was the comprehension of the first sect master of the Black Devil sect in his entire life. After absorbing these comprehensions, Ning Fan's Yin-Yang Phoenix technique skyrocketed. He could vaguely feel that he had taken a huge step closer to truly cultivating the Yin-Yang Phoenix technique. At this point, there was only one last sentence left from the first sect master's words. The comprehension of the inheritance ends here. This old man only has one last thing left to remind you all of your descendants. Remember. Remember. The immeasurable pill is a conspiracy. All the Yin heavy wood that grows in the Purple Do illusory world has a huge hidden danger. Someone has done something to it and it cannot be used as medicine. If you insist on consuming this immeasurable pill, one day, you will follow the footsteps of my ancestor, Divine Master Nangong, and die an unnatural death. Ning Fan frowned. Is the first sect master trying to scare me? What does he mean by the immeasurable pill is a conspiracy? What does he mean by all the Yin heavy wood that grows in the illusory world has a hidden danger and it cannot be used as medicine? Divine Master Nangong had appeared several times in the memories of the first Black Devil sect. According to the first sect master's words, this person seemed to have died an unnatural death because of some hidden danger of the immeasurable pill. The first sect master had said that he was originally unwilling to split the heaven and earth sect. However, after knowing the death of his ancestor, Divine Master Nangong, he split the two sects in anger. What was the meaning behind the split into the White Devil sect and the Black Devil sect? What did it have to do with Divine Master Nangong's death? The first sect master said that the immeasurable pill is a conspiracy to prevent the descendants from consuming the immeasurable pill to cultivate. There is no need for him to frighten the descendants. Could it be that there is really something wrong with the immeasurable pill? Ning Fan's frown deepened. If the immeasurable pill really had a hidden danger, should he still consume the immeasurable pill to increase his cultivation base in the future? The most important method for the ancient cultivators to increase their cultivation base was to consume the immeasurable pill. If he does not consume the immeasurable pill, his cultivation speed would be very, very slow. In the following month, Ning Fan spent all his time in seclusion to check his body. He had consumed quite a number of immeasurable pills along the way. If the immeasurable pill really had a hidden danger, then it was highly likely that there was already some kind of problem with his body. Unfortunately, no matter how Ning Fan examined himself, he could not find any abnormalities in his body. He still had a small amount of 800 million yen heavy wood in his hands. Similarly, no matter how he examined them, he could not find any traces of the hidden danger in them. Could it be that the first sect master was really just trying to frighten me? Or could it be that the hidden danger of the immeasurable pill and the 800 million yen heavy wood is too high? Even with my current eyesight at the second level of the heaven realm, I still can't see through it. Which answer is the truth? If the immeasurable pill really had a huge hidden danger, Ning Fan would rather increase his cultivation base at a slower pace than to use such a method to increase his cultivation base. However, what if all of this was just the first sect master's mistaken perception? Then, Ning Fan would also suffer a huge loss because he listened to a rumor and gave up on the shortcut of using the immeasurable pill to increase his cultivation base. The immeasurable pill is too important in my plan to increase my cultivation base. I must get to the bottom of this matter. Otherwise, if my judgment is wrong, I will have to pay a huge price no matter which side I am wrong on. With a heavy heart, Ning Fan entered the profound Yin world once. This time, he did not come to the profound Yin world for cultivation, nor was he here to look for someone for dual cultivation. He came to look for Nailan Zi. Nailan Zi had once triggered the 3 lives technique. This technique could only be used 3 times in a person's life. Nailan Zi had already used it once unconsciously. She had long predicted the current chaotic situation in the Realm River. Basically, no one in the Dharma ending era could predict this in advance. It showed how accurate Nailan Zi's 3 lives technique was. I saw the future. A terrifying future. The 4 heavens will be isolated. There will be a great war in the northern heaven. After that, the Spirit King will die. He will die in the hands of the Western demon ancestor. Ling Er, who was eaten by the Spirit King, will also die. Facts had already proven the miraculous power of the 3 lives technique. Therefore, this time, Ning Fan planned to use Nailan Zi's technique for the second time to see if the hidden danger of the immeasurable pill still existed. He did not know if Nailan Zi could predict the result. Whether she could or not, he would owe her a favor. After all, the opportunity to use the 3 lives technique was extremely precious. Every time it was used, it would be one less time. Master, do you want me to use the 3 lives technique to help you predict something? Nailan Zi closed her blind eyes and said with a troubled expression. Of course, she was willing to help him and let him owe her a favor. Only then would he help her save her younger sister seriously given his personality. However, the problem was, she did not know any 3 lives technique at all. Even though Ning Fan said that she had once triggered the 3 lives technique unconsciously, she had lost all of her memories of using the technique after that. She did not remember that she had triggered the technique at all. Master, you aren't lying to me, are you? The 3 lives technique is the highest forbidden technique of my Purple Cuckoo clan. It is also one of the top 10 demonic techniques in the ancient times. How could a first-step demon like me possibly know such a profound demonic technique? Nailan Zi said with uncertainty. Do you think I need to lie to you about this? Ning Fan was speechless. After getting along with Nailan Zi for so many years, he no longer hated her anymore. That's true. Nailan Zi nodded her head. I have read through some ancient books and found some information about the 3 lives technique. I will read it to you. Try to comprehend the contents of the information and see if you can trigger the 3 lives technique again. Ning Fan took out tens of ancient books. Each of them recorded some information about the 3 lives technique. Ning Fan then read the paragraphs of the information to Nailan Zi word by word. Nailan Zi blushed a little. She had done too many intimate things with Ning Fan, but it was her first time sitting next to him and listening to him read books. Both of them were clearly having intimate contact with each other when they were doing things. However, Nailan Zi felt that Ning Fan was the closest to her at this moment. This man seems to really have some troublesome matter which requires the 3 lives technique to predict. Since that's the case, I will try my best to help him. Ning Fan read books for an entire day. After listening to some written records about the 3 lives technique, Nailan Zi seemed to have found the trick to trigger the technique on her own. However, Nailan Zi did not tell Ning Fan about it. Because once she tells him, she was very sure that Ning Fan would not read books to her anymore. Instead, he would immediately ask her to use the 3 lives technique to make a divination. She still wanted to listen to Ning Fan read for a while more. This feeling is so warm, no. This man seems to know the mind-reading technique. He must have already found out about my little thoughts. Nailan Zi's expression suddenly changed when she recalled Ning Fan's ability. She was afraid that Ning Fan had already seen through her little thoughts and thus angered him. Fortunately, Ning Fan did not seem to use the mind-reading technique because he was still reading books to her. It seems like he didn't see through my little thoughts. If he knew about it, he definitely wouldn't bother to read more books to me given his personality. Nailan Zi heaved a sigh of relief. Ning Fan was still reading to Nailan Zi, but his heart was extremely speechless. He had already seen through Nailan Zi's little thoughts, all right? However, this time, he had a favor to ask from her. Thus, he did not mind slightly accommodating her. Does this woman like to listen to me read books? So what if he recited a bit more? Thus, this time, he continued to study until the dawn of the next day. Only then did Ning Fan close the book. He no longer had any books related to the 3 lives technique to read. As for Nailan Zi, she had already fallen asleep on the table while listening to Ning Fan's loud reading. Hence, when Nailan Zi woke up, she nearly cried because of her own stupid actions. She was really tired of living as she slept soundly in front of the great devil Lord Ning Fan. It seemed like the comfortable life she had been living all these years had made her forget the fear of being dominated by Ning Fan. This isn't good. I need to change. I'm sorry. Master, I didn't fall asleep on purpose. Master spent so much time explaining the essentials of the 3 lives technique to me, but I didn't listen carefully. Please punish me, Master. You haven't been listening carefully since I started reading the 5th book, right? Ning Fan was speechless. Yes. Because when Master read the 5th book, I already grasped the essentials of triggering the 3 lives technique. There was no need for me to listen carefully after that. Ah. No, Master. I didn't mean to deceive Master. I just wanted to ask Master to spare my life. Nailan Zi cried anxiously. Alright. I have already seen through your little thoughts. I don't have the intention to blame you. Why are you crying? There's no need to explain and there's no need to. I'm the one who asked for your help. What's wrong with doing some small things for you? Do you still need to listen to me reading now? If you do, I can read you another 10 books at most. You won't be able to listen to any more. And no need. I can help Master with the divination now. Nailan Zi said with a red face. Alright. Then you can help me with this matter. Ning Fan told Nailan Zi about the divination that he wanted. 2 hours later, Ning Fan carried Nailan Zi, who had fainted due to excessive consumption of her demon power, back to the bed. He fed her a pill to recover her vitality and covered her with a thin blanket. When they left the profound Yin world, one could clearly see how gloomy Ning Fan's face was. That gloominess was not directed at Nailan Zi but the result of her divination. The limitless pill is a conspiracy. All the 800 million Yin heavy trees in the illusionary world have been tampered with by someone. All the descendants of Purple Doe are in the scheme. If they consume the problematic limitless pill, they will certainly die a horrible death in the future. If Master needs the limitless pill, you can buy it from other worlds through the ancient country's trading formation. As Master has consumed the problematic limitless pill before, there are already hidden dangers in your cultivation base. If you want to stay alive, you must find a way to eliminate the hidden dangers. Coincidentally, Northern Heaven has won. Ning Fan felt that an unprecedented conspiracy was shrouding all the descendants of Purple Dough. Who is the one who did something to all the heavy trees in the illusionary world? Is his purpose to kill all the descendants of Purple Dough who consumed the limitless pill? However, they won't die immediately after consuming the limitless pill. It seems like there are still certain conditions to be met in order to be killed by these limitless pills. Divine Sage Nangong, who died tragically in the past, must have met those conditions. Ning Fan had yet to meet those conditions. Thus, he was not killed just like most of the descendants of Purple Dough. What are the conditions to be killed by the limitless pill? I have no idea. Ning Fan only knew that from now on, he would never consume the problematic limitless pill again. That was simply seeking his own death. If he really needs the limitless pill, he would think of a way to buy it using the ancient country's trading formation. Otherwise, he could only use other methods to increase his cultivation base. Wait. If there is a problem with the 800 million heavy trees in the illusionary world of Purple Dough, he seemed to have harmed someone. That day, I lacked the main ingredients to concoct the limitless pill. Thus, I directly exchanged a large batch of heavy trees for the finished limitless pill. It was a private transaction with a place called the Little Mountain World in the illusionary world. I remember that the transaction partner was a female holy sage cultivator with the codename Miss Ling. At that time, she urgently needed a large batch of heavy trees. Since there is a problem with my heavy trees, it is very likely that I have harmed her. Ning Fan decided to find a time to contact that female holy sage cultivator again and ask about her current situation. Even though it was impossible for Ning Fan to meet that female holy sage cultivator for the rest of his life, he still felt a little guilty. He was the one who sold the problematic items. Thus, he should give that female holy sage cultivator some compensation. Of course, this matter would have to wait until he had the time. The most important thing now was to go to a certain place in the Northern Heaven and get a secret technique according to Nailan Zi's divination. Ning Fan needed to use this secret technique to eliminate the hidden danger in his cultivation base. Multi-layered soul sealing technique. This technique isn't a great technique that is famous in the Northern Heaven. Instead, it is an inconspicuous technique in the scripture pavilion of a certain true force in the Northern Heaven. Because no one has successfully cultivated it before, no one paid much attention to it. If it wasn't for Nailan Zi's divination, I wouldn't even have heard of this technique. However, can this technique really eliminate the hidden danger in my cultivation base?